Christmas Toy Drive at the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton. And we're still accepting monetary donations. Anything you can give helps. Head to WTMJ.com and click on the KEPCO's Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive under the Features tab. Thank you for making a difference this holiday season. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon, 12 o'clock. We have 54 degrees. These clouds are going to return this afternoon, breezy today with a high 56. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. A man from Racine is in custody after Kenosha police say he made a bomb threat on Kenosha's north side. Incident prompted police to evacuate the Pick and Save on 18th Street last evening. Nobody hurt, and police say there is no threat to the community. Students, staff, and supporters holding a walk-in across from Lincoln Middle School in Kenosha ahead of the school district's vote Tuesday on whether to close multiple schools due to declining enrollment. Back in October, KUSD Superintendent Jeff Weiss says the district is trying to best serve the needs of their families.
We are doing this in order to continue to provide high services for all of our families. I don't want to reduce services to our families. We may need to change where we offer those.
School Board President Yolanda Adams has said the board is facing a preliminary deficit of around $15 million. Walk-in organizers say closing Lincoln and other schools would disproportionately affect low-income students and students of color. By a 4-1 vote, Jeff Peterson out as principal of the Raymond School District in Caledonia. The Racine County Eye reports the decision made by the district's Board of Education and comes after a series of evaluations and deliberations regarding the school's direction and leadership. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres made headlines this week after invoking the rarely used Article 99 power to force the UN Security Council to discuss calling for a humanitarian ceasefire inside Gaza. During an emergency meeting of the Security Council today, Permanent Representative for Israel Gilad Erdan slams the idea of a ceasefire, saying it will only enable Hamas to terrorize Israel further.
The true path to ensure peace is only through supporting Israel's mission. Absolutely not to call for a ceasefire.
The death toll from the Israel-Hamas war now stands at over 18,000 people. Hamas still holding 140 hostages in captivity. A grand jury's indicted Hunter Biden on 9 counts, including 3 felonies. Charges against the president's son include failure to file and pay taxes, tax evasion, and filing false tax returns. Prosecutors accuse Biden of failing to pay at least $1.4 million in federal taxes. A federal judge set to rule as soon as today on the use of separating migrant families as an immigration deterrent.
The White House awaiting a U.S. district judge's ruling on that Trump-era migrant family separation policy. That judge already granting tentative approval to a settlement between the ACLU and the Biden administration to block those separations for as long as 8 years. The same judge ordering an end to the policy back in 2018 after then-President Trump suspended it amid backlash. But Trump has not ruled out resuming the policy at the southern border if he were elected president again. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Keeping loose Christmas trees off the street and supporting a local cause.
Although DPW crews will not be collecting Christmas trees after the holidays this season, a new nonprofit in Milwaukee is offering curbside tree pickup. TMJ4 News reports that Alyssa and Sam Wisniewski, owners of Chilwaukee Pops and Sweet Little Box Company, have started yet another business called Milwaukee Tree Pickup. For a fee starting at $25, you can schedule a time to set your tree on the curb, and they'll pick it up within 72 hours. Pickups will start December 26 and run through January. Plus, 10% of all profits will be donated to Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 58 points, 36,176. S&P 500 is up 6 points, and the Nasdaq Composite is up 28. The Annex Wealth Management Year-End Tax Planning Guide is here. Download yours at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:04.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health has Medicare Advantage plans that give you $25 a month back towards your Medicare Part B premium? That's $300 a year back in your pocket. Isn't that great? Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal. Certain restrictions apply to the Part B giveback. Visit networkhealth.com/Medicare/extra benefits for details.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
At We Energies, we're committed to building a bright, sustainable energy future. We're investing in clean energy projects like solar, wind, and battery storage. As a leader in the decarbonization effort, our goal is to achieve net zero carbon emissions from our generation fleet by 2050. It's part of our plan to provide the affordable, reliable, and clean energy you depend on. Learn more at WeEnergies.com. We Energies. People you can trust, energy you can depend on. This message was paid for by the stockholders of WEC Energy Group.
The Milwaukee Bucks' luck runs out in Vegas as they fall to the Indiana Pacers in the semi-round of the NBA's inaugural in-season tournament. This one by a final score of 128-119. Giannis led the Bucks with 37 points and added 10 rebounds, but ultimately his team fell short.
Biggest thing I believe is that we gotta want it. You know, it's nobody's going to give you nothing.
Following the loss, Milwaukee will now have a couple of days off before they host Chicago on Monday night. The third-ranked Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball team is moving on to the Elite Eight after knocking out 14th-ranked Penn State Thursday night 3-1 at the UW Fieldhouse in Madison. The Badgers will match up with Oregon on Saturday night. And lastly, Week 14 of the NFL season kicked off on Thursday night. The Patriots beating the Steelers by a final score of 21-18. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Just a little bit of slowing in that construction zone. I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown. It's about a 15-minute drive. Northbound from the Marquette Interchange to Brown Deer Road about 10. 94 southbound from the Marquette Interchange to Layton Avenue running about 6 minutes this afternoon.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast is going to be cloudy and breezy this afternoon. High of 56, then rain tonight, low 44. Rain early tomorrow, then mostly cloudy, breezy, a high of 49. Temperatures are going to drop in the afternoon, then mostly cloudy Sunday. Flurries possible in the morning with a high Sunday of only 37. Sunny on Monday, 39, then partly sunny and breezy Tuesday with a high of 40. Madison right now 50, Green Bay 49, Milwaukee 54 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:08.
This is the Jeff Wagner Show, live from the Casmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton for the Capco Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive. And now, here is your host, Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome to the show. So very glad to have you with us on an absolutely beautiful Friday afternoon in December. And like the big voice guy says, we're doing something special. We are on the road. This is Kids to Kids Christmas. And it's really kind of the calm before the storm, because while we're taking gifts today, of course, tomorrow is the very, very big day. It's their celebration of giving. We're going to be talking a lot about that. We're broadcasting live from Capco. For those of you who, in addition to listening to us, would like to see all the festivities, well, you know, you can watch us. We're up on YouTube. We've got our own YouTube channel. Who knew? Go to WTMJ.com, click on the Watch Live, or go to YouTube, put in WTMJ, and you can see us. And if you are watching live, well, it kind of spoiled the surprise a little bit, because it's not just me. I'm joined at the outset of the show by two, well, people who've, I think, really had an interesting experience this year as part of Kids to Kids Christmas. I'm joined by Olin Coyce and Alex Gaskin, who are both students at Homestead High School. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, Olin, first of all, what year are you?
I'm a senior.
You are a senior, and Alex?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. Okay. Now, one of the reasons that you're here today, other than the fact that we want to hear about Homestead and things like that, is you've been part of CAPCO's Student Leadership Council this year. Alex, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we just found out about it the beginning of the summer, this past summer. Our student advisors for specific clubs at Homestead, for me, Student Council, for Olin, National Honor Society, they told us about this opportunity to help out here at CAPCO. And it sounded like a great opportunity. So we came to the first meeting, we heard about the toy drive. I've actually been helping with the toy drive since my days in elementary student council, but I've never been here at CAPCO seeing what it's all about. So it's really exciting for me.
So, Olin, how did the whole thing get started for you, and what has it involved over the course of the last several months?
So I was originally someone in the National Honor Society. The leader at our school reached out and basically asked if anyone wanted to join. And I thought it would be a great opportunity from what I read and the different experiences that were offered. And it's really, it's a lot of like building relationships with different businesses and just reaching out to different schools and really just spreading the word about like what we're doing here and toy drive in general.
So for both of you, this has been more than just, okay, we're going to try to see if we can raise some toys, get some kids or parents from our school to donate toys. This is a much broader sort of thing, right?
Yes, the Student Leadership Committee has representatives from Homestead, from Port Washington High School, Cedarburg, and Grafton. So it's great to work together with them, see what kind of things they're doing at their school, and try to, get suggestions from them, share our ideas, and somehow raise more.
So, Olin, tell me, what have you guys done over the course of the last several months? Now, we're looking at the culmination of that as we're looking at all the toys that have come in and that are going to be coming in. But what have some of you guys done?
So, we've set up numerous donation locations, whether it be at businesses or at our schools. I know Alex and the student council has worked hard to set up a lot of donation locations. And then we've also, just in general, spreading the word about this is the main way that people find out. We've also, at the school today, we had a Miracle Minute where people donated money, and student council went around and basically asked for donations. And from what Alex told me, we raised a decent amount. So,
you got numbers?
I don't have numbers yet. Still counting.
But people were very generous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was around when the whole concept of Kids to Kids Christmas first developed, like 17 or 18 years ago. And one of the ideas was you wanted to get people involved in the spirit of giving and really get students who maybe come from a little bit more privileged backgrounds to appreciate the fact that there's a lot of kids that are out there at the holiday times who aren't as fortunate as all of us are, and really get them involved and understand that spirit of giving. And have you noticed that as you've been working through this over the last couple months?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I remember about my Christmases growing up is coming downstairs Christmas morning and seeing presents under the tree. But I do realize that not everybody has that opportunity. So acknowledging that and then acting upon that is really something that I feel like is important and I've learned.
Are you guys both surprised when you see the fruits of all your labors? You look around and look at all the different toys and stuff that are here?
It's incredible to see it all, especially knowing that a lot of the high schools haven't even dropped off their toys yet. So it's just going to continue to grow.
Okay, so tomorrow is a very big day because from 3 to 7 out here at CAPCO, it's the celebration of giving. You guys are both going to be here, right?
I will be, yes.
Okay, what are you looking? You're not sure?
I will be here on Sunday morning.
Oh, Sunday morning. Okay, what are you looking forward to when tomorrow comes around? What do you expect to see? What will people who come out here to drop off toys expect to see?
The first thing I noticed when I walked in the doors here was just the sheer amount of toys we've raised. So that'll be probably one of the first things people notice. And then, there's going to be a ton of fun holiday stuff. I think there's going to be choirs from different schools.
Right.
And then there's going to be, music, school mascots, stuff like that. It's just going to be a blast. So,
right. Alex, what are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
I honestly can't wait to see everyone's reaction when they show up. I want them to be awed by what CAPCO has done over the past couple of months.
Has this been a good experience for you two?
I mean, it's been incredible for me. I've been able to give back to my community while at the same time building like leadership skills, which I can use in all aspects of life in the future.
It's been a great opportunity to be doing things back at Homestead and then to see how that's turning out up here at Capco. It's very cool.
Now you are a senior, Olin. You got plans? I mean, it's a little bit early, but you have plans?
Yeah, I mean, I've applied to about half my schools so far. I still have another half to get in by the end of the month. So.
Do you have an idea what you want to study?
Finance.
All right, can't go wrong with that. Now you're just a junior, Alex, but you have any ideas as to what you want to do?
No plans yet. I've been testing my options this past year, taking an architecture class, a anatomy class, just to see what I might be interested in.
Architect, doctor, it's all out there. You got all sorts of options, and you have time. Well, I want to thank you both for at least taking some time to be on the show with me today, but also for all that you've done over the course of the last couple months. And you get to see the fruits of all your labor and how cool this is. And for people who come out tomorrow, we want to make sure that they ask for both of you to say, hey, I heard about you. I heard you guys on the radio and stuff, and say hi. And you will be great ambassadors for Kids to Kids Christmas.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having us, and that's what we hope to do, and continue spreading the word. So.
Absolutely. Thank you both for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. We're broadcasting live from Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas. Stick around. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
This is Libby Collins. Join me Sunday morning at 11 o'clock on WTMJ Conversations when we talk with St. Francis Police Detective Holly McManus, the handler of Canine Bane.
This guy is 10 feet from us, and he could only see Bane. And he never barked once, but the growl was so loud that the guy could hear him inside the house. And he said the only reason he came out was because of the dog.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Roof leaks. Ugh. We do know roofs don't last forever, and your home needs to be protected. By just walking around your home, you can look for different signs your roof is showing its age. Are shingles just breaking down? Then your roof will become susceptible to leaks. And when the integrity of your roof is compromised, water will make its way inside. Another easy way water can leak into your home is from metal flashings that have rusted. Metal flashings are used in the valleys, along the sidewalls behind the siding, and around chimneys. If these metals are rusting through, water will get in. Leaks that are easy to detect are the ones that are dripping on your head. Other leaks might be more difficult to decipher. When a leak goes unnoticed, damage to drywall, insulation, and the structure of your home can happen. Being proactive will save you a lot of grief and extra repairs. You may recognize you need a new roof and want to be proactive, but timing isn't in your favor. With the help of financing, you can take back the control of your home. We can install your new roof now when you need it the most and utilize our financing tools to help defer the cost to a time that makes more sense to you. Whether you are being proactive or reactive, please know that the products and the install methods used are by far more valuable than price. In a you get what you pay for industry, you don't want the water dripping on your head right after a new roof has been put on because shortcuts were taken. Find a reputable company like Siding Unlimited to come out and show you how our ways are going to provide you lasting results while keeping your head dry.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for roofing. And also replacement windows, decks, and of course siding. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
From the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton, it's Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Welcome back. Jeff Wagner, WTMJ. Yeah, this is our radiothon for the Kids to Kids Christmas campaign. For people who aren't familiar with this, as I was saying when we were talking to Alex and Olin, this is, I remember when Kids to Kids Christmas started. And I remember it was 17 or 18 years ago, and I remember Jim Kasmeric from Capco and John Green, radio legend, getting together, and they were trying to come up with, concepts of ways that we could do things. They could do things for the community. Now, I mean, a lot of times it's simply, okay, we'd like to ask people to donate money, and then we'll use that money and we'll distribute in a certain way. And there's always a value of that. But I think one of the beauties of Kids to Kids Christmas is they said, okay, we want to try to go farther. And yeah, I mean, money is great and stuff, but we really want to try to invest young people in the spirit of giving, because there's lots of people out there that are less fortunate than maybe some. So the concept wasn't just, okay, here, give us some money. We'll take money. That's great. But the concept was, take your kids and take them to the toy store, take them to the big box retailer or whatever. Take them shopping for toys and have them pick out a couple toys. Maybe it's toys that they would like themselves, and then have them donate them so you can see that these toys are going to somebody less fortunate than yourself. And that's been, I think, one of the really unique concepts of the Kids to Kids Christmas event. And it's also, I think, been one of the real pluses of it, because you really do get involved with what I'm going to describe as that spirit of giving that is out there. And it's been one of the great things that's been successful. It is also, just on a personal level, it's been amazing to me to see how this entire thing has developed over the years. And by that I mean, I remember it was always a success. Okay, it was always a success. But as it started and as it has grown, what we've seen is, well, I mean, more and more toys being delivered. I mean, in the beginning, it used to be, now we're again out here at this entire Capco campus. It used to be that their main manufacturing plant, which I'm looking at right now, that's where the toys would be. And they'd essentially, I think, turn people's offices into toy store rooms. And we'd go out there for some of the events, and I'd walk through, and there was just room after room after room of toys. Never seen so many toys in my life. And then every year, there kept being more and more toys. And I'd see the trucks that would come in and deliver them, and I'd see how many great people would come out and deliver these various toys. And it was just absolutely amazing. And now there's this entire building, the Kasmeric Performance Center, and this is going to be full of toys. And the parking lot behind me is already getting set up as a Christmas wonderland. It's really been amazing, and it's been gratifying to see how this event has just continued to grow and to grow and to grow over the years. And there's a number of ways that people can, of course, contribute. Now, like I say, there's a number of drop-off facilities across the area. You can go to WTMJ.com. You're going to see this big banner that says Kids to Kids Christmas, and that'll tell you all sorts of different ways that you can donate. In addition to that, big event tomorrow. It's their celebration of giving. It's going to be out here at Capco between 3 and 7. And as the young people we were just talking to were saying, there's choirs that are going to be here. There's a mascot contest. They're going to have different degrees of refreshments. It's just a wonderful, wonderful event. Now, one of the questions that people have, I know, is, okay, well, you collect these toys, what happens to them? And again, the way this works out is a number of different agencies from all around the area, and it's really grown. In the beginning, it was like 1 or 2 different agencies. Now it's I think dozens. What they will do is they will say, okay, well, we've got this need, and they'll submit a request, and they'll say, we'd like you to be able to give us X amount of toys. And Capco does everything it possibly can in an effort to try to maximize the giving potential. So it's just been wonderful. What we're hoping is that if you can find your way clear to, make a donation. And some people say, well, okay, I don't have the time to go out and get a toy or whatever, but I'd still like to contribute. Well, that's great, because we do take money. Because what happens then is we take the money that you are kind enough to donate, and then what we do is we have a bunch of Santa's elves who go out and they actually purchase toys. So if you can't do it or can't get to the drop-off thing, that's okay. Don't worry. We've got the mechanisms in place that are going to allow us to help get toys to kids who are needy. And that's, I think, really been the beauty of it. And as I look back in all the years that I've been here at WTMJ, and I look back at some of our successful events, and including the events that have had legs. We've had promotions and things that we've been involved with that have been great. They've come, they've gone, they've kind of run their course. Here, Kids to Kids Christmas thrives. It gets better and bigger every year. And the only reason that happens is because we have the support of so many of you who recognize this is the wonderful thing. So we're out here at the Kasmeric Performance Center this afternoon. We're going to be broadcasting live. If you happen to be in the area, stop off, come on in, drop off some toys and say hi. Tomorrow is the big event, the celebration of giving. But regardless of how you do it, we really very, very much appreciate it. We're out in Grafton. Let's take a quick break. Today's show is going to be a little bit different. We're going to, since of course we're on remote, it's Kids to Kids Christmas, we're going to be doing some holiday features and things like that. But we've also got some serious stuff as well. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this. Wisconsin's Morning News.
It occurs to me more often lately that we are still fighting the same war.
Listen to Vince Vetrano every weekday starting at 6 a.m.
We took our son and our daughter to the 9/11 memorial. Do you see we're still fighting the same wars? That was a proxy war between the U.S. and Russia in a faraway land. And what's happening right now? The same thing. But I'm glad we saw that, and it just occurred to me in that way that, as much as things change, some things always stay the same.
News Radio WTMJ.
Hey, happy holidays. This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner here to tell you about Built Right Furniture. Built Right's overstocked and overstacked mattress sale is on now. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Look, Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free store. Built Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you will get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep. Built Right does the research for you. Their team will take the time to help fit you. Built Right's affordable, better quality brands include Restonic, Therapeutic, Heirloom, Gold Bond, and Schiffman. Built Right offers free delivery on mattress-only purchases of $7.99 or more, and they'll remove your old mattress too. Select model sets include a free mattress protector or heavy-duty bed frame. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, be sure to tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Pain relief and gimmicks. The two seem to go hand in hand. And it really is a shame, because when you're living with chronic pain, you're vulnerable. And that's why so many people get tricked into buying unproven treatments. At Rejuvenex, we understand how you suffer, how you wait to get out of bed because you know the pain is coming. Chronic pain from osteoarthritis is a terrible thing. And that's why we use our proprietary, powerful, FDA-approved treatments to precisely target your affected areas, to provide cushion and lubrication that helps deliver long-lasting pain relief in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We're in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Welcome back. So very glad to have you with us. This is, in addition to being this wonderful Kids to Kids Christmas remote, and it's really a cause that I think all of us can get behind. It's also an interesting time because this is, after 25 years, this is the last remote that I am going to be doing at WTMJ because, of course, next Friday, after a little over 25 years, I kind of ride off into the sunset, hanging up the headphones, and it's starting to get real as the number of days count down. I've been thinking about all the different remotes that we've done and all the different broadcasts we've done all throughout the area, and how many of you I've had a chance to meet on a first-hand basis, whether it's our broadcasts from State Fair every year, or Summerfest every year, or whether it's been all the different places and causes we've been associated with. It has just been a wonderful experience, and it's been my great pleasure to get out and be able to say hi to you who've listened to the show over the years. I've been blown away with the number of just texts and emails and phone calls and comments. it's kind of tough to react to how some of this goes sometimes. Here's one of our texters. This is Brian in Plymouth, who just sent the note. Jeff, I told my wife you weren't going to last long on the radio once you bought that condo in Florida. But anyway, your stories have always been a big part of my day for years. I'm a truck driver, so I can basically listen all day. It's funny you mentioned Steve Dahl the other day. In the 80s and 90s, I used to go through the Chicago area a lot and listen to Jonathan Brandmeier, then Kevin Matthews, then Steve and Gary. Then in the late 1990s, I started staying more local, found Charlie Sykes, then you, then the Greenhouse. It was perfect radio for the day. You are the only one left. But maybe you could someday do a podcast. You could do it whatever you want, as much as you want. Pick the topics I never hear anywhere else. Just something to think about. Good luck to you. Enjoy your retirement. You will be missed. How very kind is that? And that's been kind of what the sentiment around this have been. Okay, let me see. I have a guest here. Would you bring the cute blonde over? I think. Let me see. I saw somebody that I wanted to bring in I was asking for the cute blonde. Well, Marilee, you qualify in our sales department as that. I was just kind of wondering. We have a special guest. I wanted to make a point of making sure that she stopped in because I wanted to put her on the radio as we're doing this event. Tell you what, let me take a very quick break. We'll be back with more in just a minute. Live radio broadcasting live from Kids to Kids Christmas, Capco in Grafton. Stick around.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
Happy holidays. Yep, they are here. Hey, it's WTMJ's Brian Z. The holidays right around the corner. It's time for parties, family time, photos around that tree. Make sure your teeth are looking their best. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. You know about Dr. Michaels. I tell you about him all the time. Whether you or your family need a simple cleaning and exam, a more complex dental procedure for an ache or a pain, a teeth whitening, an implant, Dr. Michaels and the team at Oconomowoc Dental Care will always make you as comfortable as possible while you're in the chair and give both you and your family an amazing smile. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry no longer a dream. It's the reality. Dr. Michaels' fantastic staff can help you out with a no-interest payment plan, no financial stress this holiday season. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not wait any longer. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care.
Your wealth, your legacy, your taxes. Without a doubt, they've changed from where you started. Is your old financial plan keeping up? It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Strategy Review. It's the best place to start with Annex. No high-pressure sales. No advice that's not in your best interest. Zero commissions. We're not just looking for the lowest taxes today. We look through retirement and determine the best tax path for you and your family. Get an Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Strategy Review. Visit annexwealth.com/taxsmart.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Welcome back. So very glad to have you with us. As I said, we're broadcasting live from the Kasmeric Performance Center. It's actually the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance out at Capco. We are out here in Grafton. I think everybody knows where the main Capco facility is. This is kind of around the bend and big building full of toys. I was saying earlier that, it's really been fun to be involved in this since the inception. And it's interesting because I wanted to bring on a special guest who showed up here with carts full of toys, and that would be... you're famous, my lovely wife, Fran. Hi.
Hi.
So you and our dear friend Patty, you guys went shopping. You embodied the spirit of Kids to Kids Christmas in the last hour or so.
We did. We went to Target down the road, and it was great. And we walked in here, and Patty has never seen this. So this is something else.
Right.
And people are so generous and so...
Well, see, the amazing thing is... Even before you and I were together as a couple, you have, with your grandkids and stuff, you've been coming here on a regular basis to support the cause.
I did. And it was great. I would take them to Target before we would go in here. And they have the reindeer. They had everything going. That food, hot chocolate, music outside. And it was a wonderful experience. And I thought it taught them to pick out toys for other people.
You know, I think the amazing thing to me is to see how this entire thing has grown. I was saying earlier, I mean, I remember when it first started, and we'd come out here, and you'd go through it, and they always had, I was just amazed that they'd have a ton of toys, but now they literally have tons of toys that people are giving.
They do. It's overwhelming just walking through. Patty's enjoying it too.
Right. Well, right. I mean, I don't think until you actually come out here and see it, I don't think you can really appreciate the generosity that people have.
I agree. And all the volunteers they have, and they do so much here.
Right.
I'm watching these people over here. They're amazing.
Oh, right. I mean, again, you just look at how they create this Christmas wonderland. And I think one of the great things, too, that they've done is they incorporate the community. I mean, they were telling me all the stories about how they go out to the various businesses and they have all these volunteers that solicit that, and the businesses put stuff together. How neat is that?
It is. And it's so organized, the toys. Did you walk through?
I did walk through, absolutely.
Everything is organized, from ages, girls, boys, young teenagers. They had makeup, which you had advertised that on your show, as remember the 16-year-olds.
Right.
And things, and they did.
Right.
So they took that, and I think that was good. And all the little kids.
See, this was an educational experience for me today because I came out. I'm always curious as to what the hot toy is this year, and I was like, okay, what's the hot toy? And it's something like a Squishmallow or something where it's.
Oh, that's a pillow.
Yeah, but they said that's a. I see, you knew that.
I did it. I had to go look for him for Maggie, my friend Maggie, because she was in Florida and she needed one, so I had to go find him for her.
It's kind of like Beanie Babies on steroids or something. That's it. But I'd never even heard of the Squishmallow
cool.
thing. But they found a Squishmallow and they brought it over, so I've ended up seeing that. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep.
On a completely different subject, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm going to be around the house a lot more. I'm retiring in about a week. I don't know if you had heard that.
I'm excited to have you and to golf more and have fun in Florida and not have to be quiet when you're broadcasting.
So you don't think I'm going to get on your nerves?
No, you know what? You read a lot. You're a quiet. I don't even know if you're around the corner sometimes. So
okay, so
I'm not worried.
That's one of the big things as I talk about. As I've been talking about for the last couple of months about retiring, and next week is the last show. Everybody's like, okay, how's Fran going to handle having you around? So you think it's going to be okay?
And you know what? If I'm doing something, you go upstairs into your office and you have a big TV up there, and you're just as happy. So
it's going to be one of these deals where you don't have to go to work, but you don't have to go to work, but you have to get out of my way. Is that the program?
Yeah, when I do certain things. Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
But I love having you around. So.
Okay, well, see, that's good because I'm going to be around a lot more, I think. Okay, well, thanks for all the gifts. Both you, my love, my darling, and our friend Patty dropped all this off. You can emulate Fran. You can emulate Patty. You can stop off here, drop off toys. Again, we ask for new toys. Unwrapped toys because we'll take care of getting them where they need to go. We are broadcasting live from Grafton. It's Kids to Kids Christmas. Thanks, dear. You were my special guest here.
Thank you.
Okay, back with more in just a minute.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Have you heard about the game-changing jewelry store that's now open just in time for the holidays? It's Diamonds Direct on Mayfair Road in front of Mayfair Mall. Diamonds Direct, started by former diamond wholesalers who decided to stop selling to jewelry stores and start selling direct to the public. No middleman, no nonsense, no pricing games. It's the only store here with a nationwide low price guarantee. And the selection is mind-blowing. Hand-picked diamonds in all shapes and sizes, from a half carat to 20 carats. And case after case of earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. It's like shopping 30 stores at once. Plus, Diamonds Direct has all the designer rings women want. Names like Verragio, Henry Dawsey, and dozens more. If you're getting engaged or thinking jewelry for any occasion, your timing is perfect. A real direct diamond importer has finally arrived in Milwaukee with values you never thought possible. Discover the jewelry shopping concept that's sweeping across America. Now open here on Mayfair Road in front of Mayfair Mall. Learn more and get details at diamondsdirect.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Gift cards from the amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford make great holiday gifts, as everyone loves a delicious breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Buy a $100 gift card and get a $20 gift card free. It's easy. Order online at mineshaftrestaurant.com.
Join in on the fun this holiday season with a trip to Winky's Hallmark and Gifts, where you will find something for everyone on your list. Shop from our vast selection of unique gifts and specialty souvenir items. Enjoy delicious candies and chocolates made locally and imported from Europe. Deck your halls with home decor and candles that will set the mood for any occasion. Visit us on the corner of Silver Spring and Lake Drive in Whitefish Bay, or shop online at winkysgifts.com.
Gotta get to Winkies now.
Outdoor living is a cherished experience here, especially in the warm season. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that will revolutionize outdoor living at your home. Visualize your home and yard with an in-ground pool, screen room, pergola, patio, pavers, deck, even an outdoor kitchen. Get with Outdoor Living Unlimited and put that dream into action. The honest, reliable artists and craftsmen will be honored to work with you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
From the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton, it's Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
WTMJ again, broadcasting live from Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas. If you want more information and you want to make a donation, easiest way to do it, go to WTMJ.com. You click on this banner headline that we've got on the website that says Kids to Kids Christmas. You can make a donation. We'd love to have you. If you're in the area, stop by and say hello. We're going to be broadcasting, it's the royal we. I'll be here till 3 o'clock doing the show. And then afterwards, we'll have Greg Matzik with Wisconsin's Afternoon News. He's going to be out here as well. The kind of, I want to say it's kind of the wind-up event, but that's not actually true, because the bottom line is they will continue to take donations up, until the holiday itself. But the big event is, of course, tomorrow afternoon from 3 to 7 out here at Capco, where they've got all sorts of different things that are going to be going on. And, it's a party, and it's a lot of fun. And as my wife was saying, she was, before she had any affiliation with WTMJ, she'd be bringing the grandkids out and taking them over to the stores and buying the toys and then coming over and enjoying it. It's quite a thing. So we hope you will be able to participate. Okay, I want to move away from that for a minute, because we are going to do some regular programming out here. I picked up matter of fact, I picked up a hard copy of the newspaper today, and this is not intended as a criticism of the local newspaper, but it was interesting because, yesterday the Bucks played at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so that the game tipped off maybe a little bit after that. By 6:15 or so, it was over. They were playing in this the semifinal round of this play-in tournament, and they ended up losing. And but the game ended about 6:15 at night. In the hard copy of the local newspaper that was produced today, there's no mention of that game. So the game ends at 6:15 the night before, and the timetables are such that it can't make it into the local newspaper. So my guess is when you pick up the Saturday newspaper, there'll be a story on the game, but by then it's already a day and a half old. So it's really kind of now the old newspaper. Now again, this is not intended as a criticism, but it's the reality. We live in a 24/7 society. You want You want to see the highlights from a sports game? Well, okay, you don't wait till Sports Center on ESPN, or you don't wait till the 10:30 news. You pull out your cell phone or your laptop computer or your tablet, and you go to wherever you go, and you end up watching the highlights of the game. You want to find out what's going on in the stock market. How's the stock market doing on a particular day? Well, you don't wait till the show comes up to tell you what the closing numbers are. What you do is you go to whatever website you go to, and you can see in real time, this is what the stock market is doing. All that type of stuff ends up going on, and it's just this dynamic. We want information, but we want information when we want the information. And the problem is when you have, for example, a newspaper that, at least as far as the hard copies of the newspaper, well, it's got to be assembled. It's got to be printed in Peoria, Illinois or whatever, and then it's got to be shipped up to Wisconsin, and then it's got to be distributed. The inevitable effect of all this is you're going to get the quote-unquote news in a very, very delayed fashion. Now, that's not saying that there's not interesting things that, okay, maybe it's not news, but maybe it's an investigative story, something that's not necessarily time sensitive. There's still a value to that. But the problem is, when it comes to people, even for hardcore news junkies, the way you get information has changed just dramatically, and the technology, the printing press technology, just does not keep up with that. Now, I'm old school, and I've said this before. I enjoy the physical newspaper. I get the Wall Street Journal delivered 6 days a week. On weekends, when I have more time, I get the New York Times delivered Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Otherwise, preparation for the show or just trying to keep up with current events, I read everything online on websites. That's just ending up how I do it. But I think if you're under a certain age, maybe under the age of 50 now, and I keep raising this up, if you're under the age of 50, I'm not sure, you probably held a newspaper in your hand for the last 20 years. I mean, it's just not how people consume news unless you're sitting at the quick oil change place, waiting for, your oil change to occur, and you got to kill a little bit of time. It's just below 50, it's just not how people consume news. Now, I was thinking about this because there's a story, the Washington Post, which is one of, I think, the remaining national kind of newspapers. I'd say you've got the Wall Street Journal, you've got the New York Times, you've got USA Today, and I'd lump the Washington Post into that category. I mean, their circulation's not quite what the New York Times is, but still, it's one of those. Washington Post staffers staged a one-day strike. It was a work stoppage yesterday. Hundreds of Washington Post employees walked off the job Thursday for a one-day strike. That's because they are unhappy. They're represented by this guild. They want pay increases. The Washington Post company isn't willing to give them the pay increases they want. The newspaper guild wants to be able to maintain the, quote, hybrid work environment where the staffers don't have to come into the newsroom. The paper doesn't want that. And then there's also this whole issue with, all right, job security. Because if you want to talk about an industry that is fraught with peril right now as more and more newspapers close, this would be, that industry. Matter of fact, there was a story that I stumbled upon the other day in Axios that said that 1/3 of U.S. newspapers as of 2005 will be gone by 2024. So by next year, newspapers that were in existence, 20 years ago, 1/3 of them will be gone. Now, some of those are weekly newspapers, but a lot of them are these different daily newspapers that are just finding it more and more difficult to be able to make it work out. Our number, 855-616-1620, which is the Old National Bank talk and text line. What's the future of newspapers? I mean, do you see, with the exception of maybe a couple big national newspapers, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, maybe USA Today, but the daily newspaper, that local newspaper, whether it's the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel or whatever, being delivered, that's now currently delivered Monday through Sunday, to your doorstep, put on your front porch, put in a newspaper box by your mailbox, is Is that going to exist in the next 5 years? 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Or look, the information's going to still be there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think people are going to still want the information, and people are going to want it electronically. And yeah, I think more and more people are going to go to the websites. Now, of course, the big issue is how can you make money doing that? Because nobody's found a really good way of monetizing that. The money still remains in let's order the hard copies of the newspaper, but fewer and fewer people are going to be doing that. Do you think moving forward, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are there still going to be daily newspapers that are delivered across the country? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano,
Greg Matzik,
John Mercuri,
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead, and 'tis the season of giving.
Join WTMJ and Capco Metal Stamping for our Capco Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive this Saturday, December 9th.
There's still time to make monetary donations, and it's so easy. Just head to WTMJ.com, click the Capco's Kids to Kids banner, and donate whatever you can.
Every little bit helps. It's the Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive.
Capco Kids to Kids Toy Drive.
Capco Kids to Kids Toy Drive here on WTMJ.
It's Macy's one-day sale now with great deals of the day on gifts we love, like 60 to 65% off warm and stylish coats for everyone, 35 to 70% off fine jewelry she'll adore, and 75% off holiday decor for a cozy, welcoming home. Best of all, everyone gets $10 Macy's money for every $50 spent. Learn more at Macys.com/Macy's Money. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10 to 12 count or 10 to 12 ounce selected varieties Folgers or Dunkin' Donuts coffee, $6.99. 18 to 80 count selected varieties Hefty trash bags, $7.99. 23.6 to 36 ounce selected varieties Edwards cream pies, $5.99. 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6.
Look at those brats. You do tailgating right. Absolutely. Did you see the spread out there? You've got enough food to feed the entire lot. I'm splurging now and then hoping to win $700 in free groceries. $700? Yeah, it's all part of the 70th anniversary at Century Foods. No kidding. Next week, I'll do the shopping. Maybe I'll score $700 in groceries. All you need is the weekly code. It's on Century's Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I just remembered. I'll be out of town next week. Yeah, right, cheapskate.
Ends January 3rd.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay, here are some of the interesting numbers. By the way, our number 855-616-1620, which is the Old National Bank talk and text line. There are roughly 6,000 newspapers left in America. That's down from almost 9,000 just 20 years ago, 2005. What they're saying, of the papers that still survive, a majority publish weekly, not daily. Daily newspapers are just, they're going away, and they're going away big time. Over the past 2 years, newspapers continue to vanish at an average rate of more than 2 per week. There's 204 U.S. counties, 6.4%, that do not have any local newspaper at all. Roughly half of all U.S. counties are now served only by one remaining local news source, and that is typically a weekly newspaper. There's just no doubt about it. So, and look, and I understand this isn't we're not talking about liberal bias or conservative bias or whatever. That's not the point here. The point is the way technology develops and the way we want to consume information. It's just changed to make newspapers more and more, irrelevant. Let's go to a couple texts. Jeff, unfortunately, newspapers are going the route of the 8-track tape. Well, I am old enough to remember 8-track tapes. Now, I never understood why people had 8-track tapes, because right in the middle of the song they cut off. But yeah, 8-track tapes, cassette tapes, it just doesn't work like that anymore. Jeff, I don't know if they're even going to make it 5 years. I think the way things are going, it's just going to be all electronic. I do as well. It's one of the reasons why, if you look, a lot of newspapers are trying to push more and more people into the electronic subscriptions. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been working. It just hasn't been working. They're still struggling with how to monetize this, and I don't know what the future of that is going to be. Jeff, I'm 65. I still read newspapers. However, I know it's just a matter of time before they're gone. I don't think it will take very long. Right. I mean, you've got this aging demographic, and like I say, I enjoy, on a weekend when I have a little bit of time, I enjoy being able to sit down with the Sunday newspaper. I enjoy, doing the crossword that appears in like the Wall Street Journal Sunday paper, Saturday paper. But the reality of this is I can get that information electronically. I can get it from all sorts of choices, and I don't want to have to wait until, the next day till it gets delivered in my mailbox. I want the information right away. If something's going on, if there's what's the horrible story from this week? The shooting in Las Vegas. Okay, if I want to read about, I want to hear about, I want to learn about what happened on the campus of UNLV at 3:00 in the afternoon. Okay, I don't want to wait until 6:30 or 7:00 in the morning when James ends up dropping off the paper in my box. I want to know that information now, and there's all these different sources that allow you to end up doing that. Jeff, I had a cheap rate, which they just doubled. I immediately canceled due to this reason. I am going to end up missing it. Well, that's the thing. There is an element of this stuff, and it is, I think, sort of price sensitive. No question. Jeff, many newspapers will be gone in 5 to 10 years. I hate to say this, the majority of readers will be gone too. Well, I hope that's not the case. Boomers are the main readers of newspapers. My kids have never read a paper in hand. They've read it only online. I think that there's an element of that. Jeff, I don't think so. I'm guessing I'm about the same age as you, and as much as I love holding a newspaper and reading it, I'm not willing to pay the price they're asking, and younger people don't want to read a paper copy. There's no question. That's it as well. The people want the information that they're willing, but they're in a position where what they want to end up doing is they want to get it again on their terms. Now, I do think that part of the problem that goes with newspapers is the entire way things have been handled with regard to, I think in many cases the newspapers have tried to write to their audience, which has been a particular, in this case, sort of a political bent. And I think that went on for years, where I think especially with the left-wing bias, and there is a left-wing bias in mainstream media, I think that alienated a bunch of conservative voters who just said, conservative readers who said, look, this newspaper isn't writing to me. There's a spin on stuff. They're writing to the people that are subscribing, et cetera, so they're not writing to me, so I want no part of it. Then as you have, again, the inevitable pressure that you have where the older newspaper readers are pulling back, you end up with this entire situation. So I think these numbers that we're talking about, I think that they're going to continue to grow. Are daily newspapers, going to be gone in the next year or two? No. Will the schedule of publication be cut back? I think that that's inevitable. Will a lot of the daily newspapers kind of disappear or go to more like centralized reporting where, you've got the USA Today approach? Yeah, I think that's going to happen. The challenge to putting local newspapers out is incredibly, incredibly huge. Okay, We are, of course, at Capco. It's Kids to Kids Christmas. We're collecting toys. We're having a lot of fun. If you want to donate and you're not able to get out here today or tomorrow, go to WTMJ.com. There's a big banner headline that says Kids to Kids Christmas. You can check it off and you can donate in that fashion. Coming up, we are going to be doing some kind of lighter programming as we move later into the afternoon, but a couple very, very significant and serious topics that we're going to be talking about soon, including another day, not just another police chase, another 4 police chases. What is going on around here, and what is the solution to it? All that and a lot more is coming up. The Wagner Show resumes right after the top of the hour news.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Johnson & Sons Paving. Asphalt or concrete, Johnson & Sons is designing commercial projects for 2024 right now. Booking the work in winter gives you full confidence in the design, and you get all the permits pulled so you're set to go first in line this spring. Might not need a full rebuild. Talk with a project manager about a maintenance plan to extend the life of your parking lot or drive, and get an honest assessment on how much longer it's going to last. Plenty of Johnsons over there, no subcontractors. JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
WTMJ is live at the Capco Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive at the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton. And we're still accepting monetary donations. Anything you can give helps. Head to WTMJ.com and click on the Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive under the Features tab. Thank you for making a difference this holiday season. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon, 1 o'clock. We have 55 degrees. Expect rain later on. Overnight low tonight, 43. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. A compromise has been reached between Republicans in Madison and the universities of Wisconsin over employee pay raises held up over diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
The compromise comes after months of negotiations and very public disagreements between the two parties. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reports as part of the deal, the universities will reimagine diversity efforts, restructure dozens of staff, and freeze the total number of diversity and administrative positions for the next 3 years. In exchange, $800 million will be allocated for pay raises for 35,000 employees and a new UW-Madison engineering building. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The deal still needs votes of approval from the UW Board of Regents, the state legislature, and Governor Evers, with the regents' vote scheduled for tomorrow. Governor Evers announcing a $15 million grant to the city of Milwaukee to redevelop the abandoned Northridge Mall complex. Northridge closed in 2002, and the property Northridge sits on is currently owned by development company Black Spruce Enterprises. City ordered Black Spruce to tear down the complex in 2019. It did not comply. It's been subject to vandalism and fires over the years. Funds for the grant come from the American Rescue Plan Act. Sparks fly at today's UN Security Council meeting as countries debate calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres invoked the rarely used Article 99 earlier this week, describing what he says is a complete breakdown of the aid infrastructure, which he warns could lead to a humanitarian catastrophe. But some countries, including the U.S., appear unwilling to support that. Deputy Ambassador to the UN, Robert Wood, says the U.S. cannot allow a ceasefire to plant the seeds of the next war with Hamas.
While the United States strongly supports a durable peace in which both Israelis and Palestinians can live in peace and security, we do not support calls for an immediate ceasefire.
Meanwhile, Israeli troops and tanks pushing forward in their ground assault on the southern Gaza Strip. Texas Attorney General pushing back after a judge issued a restraining order ruling a woman can get an emergency abortion despite the state's near-total ban on the procedure. ABC's Ann Flaherty has more.
This restraining order would only apply to Kate Cox. It does not apply to other women. It only lasts for 14 days. And of course, her lawyers are saying this proves the point that two sides can disagree on when an abortion is necessary to save the life of the mother. They say that that law that was passed by Texas is intentionally vague and has essentially created a situation where there is no exception for the abortion ban.
Kate Cox's fetus was diagnosed with a medical condition that's almost always fatal for the fetus. Doctors say her fertility is at risk if she continues with the pregnancy. Milwaukee Alderman Bob Bauman distancing himself from comments made by his wife Tammy Bansimer on social media, critical of the black population in Bauman's district. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reports Bansimer directed the comments at Raihiano Boynes, who's running against Bauman in next year's aldermanic election. Bansimer had said the white population of the district has been living in fear of being shot. Bauman's represented District 4 since 2004, which encompasses part of downtown and the city's near west side. Job growth may be in the Federal Reserve's Goldilocks zone. CBS News business reporter Jason Brooks explains.
The government reported a stronger than expected gain of 199,000 jobs in November, with the unemployment rate unexpectedly falling to 3.7%. The report shows a slowing labor market, but still strong enough to prevent the economy from slipping into a recession. Wall Street is expecting a continuing pause on rate hikes at next week's Fed meeting, with odds 50-50 for a rate cut in March.
Most of the November jobs were added in the healthcare and government sectors. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is up 86 points, 36,204. S&P 500 up 11. The Nasdaq is up 48. Ready for investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary? Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 104.
Give their favorite gift this holiday season with the 2024 Brewers Kids Crew Kit presented by U.S. Bank. Each kit sets up for an epic new year with 6 ticket vouchers, a ballpark tour, and exclusive Kids Crew swag, including a Brewers City Connect jersey. Check off everything on their wish list for just $35. Order by December 17th for guaranteed holiday delivery. Learn more at brewers.com/kidscrew.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health Medicare Advantage plans start at $0 a month? And you can get the extra benefits you need, like dental, vision, over-the-counter items, and more? I know because I'm a member myself. Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you want to upgrade and transform your current bathroom space, I've got you covered. It's Sidex. Sidex just did the work in our house, took out the old bathtub, put in a beautiful walk-in shower. It is stunning. The process streamlined and efficient. Sidex is the company I trust. Sidex is the company doing the work in our bathroom, in our house. My wife is so happy. They have changed our bathroom space. It's incredible. Joe, living the legacy of his dad, Sanford. It's incredible. They're family-owned since 1988. Free shower door upgrade when you mention John Mercure. Sidex. Check out the guys I trust at Sidex.
Thrifters can spot great deals from a mile away. And here the term great deal is an understatement. The lowest prices on men's, women's, and children's clothing. Toys, furniture, housewares, jewelry, and accessories. Bikes, books, games, and more. And every time you're here, you'll find something new. So if you're thrifty, you'll find this place is pretty nifty. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield. And 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
The Milwaukee Bucks' luck runs out in Vegas as they fall to the Indiana Pacers in the semi-round of the NBA's inaugural in-season tournament. This one by a final score of 128-119. Giannis led the Bucks with 37 points and added 10 rebounds, but ultimately his team fell short.
Biggest thing I believe is that we gotta want it.
It's nobody's going to give you nothing.
Following the loss, Milwaukee will now have a couple of days off before they host Chicago on Monday night. The third-ranked Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball team is moving on to the Elite Eight after knocking out 14th-ranked Penn State Thursday night 3-1 at the UW Fieldhouse in Madison. The Badgers will match up with Oregon on Saturday night. And lastly, Week 14 of the NFL season kicked off on Thursday night. The Patriots beating the Steelers by a final score of 21-18. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. It's pretty Friday light. The only minor slowing, that construction zone, I-43 southbound, Brown Deer Road to downtown. It's about a 15-minute drive. Otherwise, pretty smooth sailing. 94 westbound from the zoo to Highway 16, about a 10-minute commute. And downtown to the zoo, about a 6-minute drive this afternoon.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. Look for rain later on tonight with an overnight low 43. Rain early tomorrow, then mostly cloudy, breezy, high 49. Going to get cooler, temperatures falling in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy Sunday. Flurries possible in the morning with a high 37. Monday, high 39 under mostly sunny skies. Then Tuesday, partly sunny, breezy, high of 40. Madison right now 50. Green Bay 49. Milwaukee 55 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 108.
This is the Jeff Wagner Show, live from the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton for the Capco Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive. And now, here is your host, Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the show. Like we say, we are broadcasting live. This is our radiothon. I'll be here for another 2 hours. Then Wisconsin's Afternoon News with Greg Matzik will be in. We're out here at Capco for the Kids to Kids Toy Drive to call attention to, this wonderful event. We've talked about the history of it. It goes back 17, 18 years. If you would like to donate, what we encourage you to do is just go to our website, WTMJ.com. There's a big banner that says Kids to Kids Christmas. You can hit it. You can get all sorts of opportunities for how you can donate, and we will make sure that your donations translate into toys that go to needy kids. In addition, tomorrow is the their big celebration of giving event. It's out here at Capco, which is in Grafton. You get off I-43 at the Grafton exit. You go about 2 miles to the west. You cannot miss it. Big facility, and they're going to have all sorts of doings going on from 3 until 7 o'clock. Different high school bands, high school choirs. There's going to be high school mascots. There's going to be food. There's going to be celebration. There's all sorts of lights. But again, the big purpose is to celebrate the toys. My wife and our friend Patty, they were just walking around, and they were just blown away by the number of toys that have been collected already. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So we thank you for your participation and encourage you to continue doing that. It's again, and I'm I don't know, choked up is the right phrase, but I'm kind of mindful of this. I remember when Kids to Kids Christmas started, and here I'm a week away from retiring, and I'm just seeing the fruits of how this has all grown over the years, thanks to you. Here's one of our, and I've been saying before, I've been sharing just a handful of these because people have been extremely kind. Jeff, I'm 43 years old, so I've been listening to you for my entire adult life. I was telling this story yesterday. It is one of the things that's been amazing to me, especially if you have a degree of longevity, is it's multi-generational. I'll run into people who are in their 20s and 30s, and they'll say, "Oh, we've been listening to you forever." And I go, "Really?" And then they'll say, "Yeah, because Mom and Dad had you on the radio, and we kind of grew up to this, and we started paying attention." Jeff, I'm 43 years old. I've been listening to you for my entire adult life. Just wanted to say how much I've appreciated your show over the years. As I've gone through college at UW-Madison and into adulthood, now married with 2 young kids, I've come to appreciate your values and perspective all the more over time. Best wishes to you and Fran over the next phase, and thanks so much for your efforts on the radio over the last quarter century. That's from Tim, and I very much appreciate that. That's one of the other things, and whenever I talk about the demise of newspapers, inevitably it's, talk radio is going the same way. No, I don't think so. It certainly has not been that case. I think there's always a demand for spoken word radio. And I think one of the things that's happened in the area of spoken word radio, talk radio, is we do constantly bring in new audiences. Now, I understand what the demographic primarily is, but it is amazing. You get a lot of people who are in their 20s, late 20s and 30s, and they start to realize that there's real issues out in the world that affect them, crime and taxes and things of the like. And then what ends up happening is they want to hear about those issues, and they want to talk about the issues, and they want to find out what some of their fellow citizens are thinking about that. And that's the role we fill, and that's why it has been so very, very cool. All right. I want to talk a little bit about a couple serious issues, and then we're going to migrate into some less serious, little bit more fun stuff. Story that caught my attention. Now, I don't want to tell you the result of this. I just want to describe this to you, and I want you to think about, okay, what should happen? All right, here's the deal. A woman, 36-year-old woman, involved in a June shooting inside the Metro Market in Glendale. And if you can picture this, this is actually, the location is probably about 2 miles from where I grew up. There's a big Metro Mart. It's on Port Washington Road and Green Tree Road, or just a little bit south of Green Tree Road on Port Washington Road. So if you can picture that, big store is part of it, and it's in a parking lot with a shopping center with a number of stores. Okay, so here's the deal. Prosecutors say the victim was, the woman's name is Tiffany Bennett. Prosecutors say the victim was her boyfriend who worked at the store. She was a former store employee. So, okay, working at the Metro Mart, she used to work there, boyfriend worked there. Here's what happens. The criminal complaint says that last June, Bennett, that would be the woman, pulled a gun from a holster on her right hip and pointed it at her boyfriend. So she's in the store, she's carrying a gun, she pulls the gun out, points it at her boyfriend. As the man was grabbing for the gun, it went off, hitting him in the leg. When police responded, they found Bennett applying pressure to the victim's upper leg with a white cloth. A Metro Market employee told police she observed Bennett following the victim throughout the store and heard them arguing. The employee claimed that Bennett threw multiple cans of soup at the victim and said, "I'm not playing with you." That's when the employee heard a gunshot. So you get the deal. The girlfriend comes into the store. She's armed. There's apparently an altercation. She's following him through the store. She's throwing cans of soup at him, okay? And she's got the gun. At some point in time, again, she pulls out a gun and points it at her boyfriend in the grocery store. And then her story is that he was grabbing for the gun after she points at it, and it goes off. She said, "He tried to grab the gun from me, and he accidentally shot himself." Okay, he shot himself. You know, he's the one that shot himself as he was trying to take the gun that I was pointing at him away from me. Officers then spoke with the store manager. The manager claimed, per the complaint, that Bennett then tried driving away from the store. So after the shooting, she decides to book. He tried to get her to stay on the scene and talk to police. She said, "No. Blank that," although she didn't say blank that. "I'm leaving." The manager then flagged down officers, and Bennett was taken into custody. Prosecutors say Bennett admitted to giving the gun and holster to a friend who hid them in a car in the parking lot. The victim suffered a fractured femur and had to have surgery. So, okay, let's review the bidding here as to what happens. You've got boyfriend, girlfriend. He works at the store. She used to work at the store. Something's obviously going on between the two of them. She comes into the store. There is an argument. She's following him through the store, according to the complaint, throwing cans of soup at him, and they're yelling at each other. She pulls out a gun, which apparently is loaded, points it at him. This is in the store. He grabs at the gun, and as they are struggling, the gun goes off, and she says he tried to grab the gun. He accidentally shot himself. Okay. After the shooting, she leaves the store. The manager tries to get her to stay. She doesn't. But en route, what happens is she takes the gun, she takes the holster, she gives it to a friend who then stashes them in a car in the parking lot. And then, okay, so you've got the circumstances. You've got a shooting in a store. Now, I ask you this because, I mean, imagine what should be the penalty for something like this. And this is kind of what I was thinking. Well, here's what ended up happening. Originally, they charged her with second-degree recklessly endangering safety. right? Which, yeah, I mean, you bring a loaded gun into a grocery store and you get into a dispute like this. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. That sounds like, all right, might be it. The district attorney's office, this is, of course, the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office, plea bargained this away. Instead of second-degree recklessly endangering safety, they ended up charging her with misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Misdemeanor disorderly conduct. All right, so a shooting in this grocery store, and then all these circumstances is now pled down to a misdemeanor, making you wonder what you had to do to get a felony conviction. In any case, then there is the sentence. Okay, so she, even though it's a misdemeanor, there is still the potential for some consequences. Well, lady comes, appears in court the other day, appears in front of Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Anna Barrios Schroeder, who was family court commissioner for years and years, just elected to the county bench last year. So, okay, you have all these charges, second-degree recklessly endangering safety, use of a dangerous weapon, all this stuff. It is pled down to the misdemeanor, but that doesn't mean that the facts are not the facts. So the question becomes, okay, what would be a fair result? Now, it's a misdemeanor, but you say, do you put her in jail for a year? Do you put her in jail for 9 months? Do you put her in jail for 6 months? The answer is no, you do not. Here is her sentence. According to the judge, the sentence in this case is that the defendant ordered to serve 9 months in the House of Correction. All right, that's fine. However, the court stays the sentence, which means it is put on hold, and places the defendant on probation for 12 months. 12 months with the following conditions: 30 days, condition time stayed, complete a batterer's intervention program, et cetera, no use or possession of firearms. But essentially nothing. Essentially nothing. She did serve the 10 days in the House of Correction and then 30 days condition time. But essentially, you go into this store, you get involved in this altercation, and we're putting you basically on probation. We're slapping your wrist. We're saying, don't do this again. And if you wonder why we have shootings and things like this. Now, look, I'm not arguing this woman needs to go to prison necessarily for 5 years. Sounds like this was a domestic thing that completely and totally got out of control. But you got somebody bringing a loaded gun into a grocery store, getting into an altercation with the boyfriend, pointing the gun at the boyfriend, and then whatever happens in the struggle, the boyfriend ended up getting shot, and then on her way out of the store, she has somebody else hide the gun in the holster. And for that, you get essentially put on probation. Really? I mean, really? That's... And I don't mean to single out this particular judge, because this is typical of the type of stuff that ends up happening. We have all these conversations about, well, too many people carrying guns, and we need to get guns off the streets and things like that, and I'm sensitive to that. But here's the problem with all that. The whole concept is, okay, we can talk about this, and we can say, oh, it's terrible, there's too many guns. But, if we're not going to hold people accountable when they do bad things with the guns, what is the point of all this? Just asking. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
More Jeff Wagner right after this. Once the final whistle blows, Bucks Talk with Justin Garcia is on the air.
Let's go, baby!
Recap every Bucks game, win or lose with Bucks Talk. Get the highlights, analysis, and preview the next matchup for the Bucks on their conquest for another championship.
What you essentially saw was Giannis saying, look, we're still figuring this out. In the meantime, we got to win. I'm just going to take over.
It's Bucks Talk with Justin Garcia, only here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
With Social Security, the longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Our team of advisors at Drake & Associates can show you the options and help you decide on the best decision for you and your situation. You spent decades paying in, optimize what comes out. Our experienced team can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. I'd love to get you our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides such as the Social Security Decision. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
From the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton, it's Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
We are back. So very glad to have you with us. We're here live at the Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive at the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton. Where if people, I think a lot of people know where the Capco facility is. This is a newer building that's behind it. So you turn in on, it's Badger Circle, right off. You get off the freeway, you go west on Highway 60, and then what you do is when you turn to come into Capco, you turn on Badger Circle, and we're around the back. It's a wonderful building. Stop by. It's WTMJ and Capco. Helps kids in need this holiday season. You can say hello to our hosts. I'm here for another couple hours. Greg Matzikin is in after that, while also helping a worthy cause, donating toys to local charities and low-income and disadvantaged families. We're here all the way through my show and through Wisconsin's Afternoon News. If you can't get out here today, that's okay, though, because you can instill the value of giving, because Capco is going to be running their toy drive all day tomorrow, Saturday, December 9th, and that, of course, culminates in their celebration of giving, 3 to 7 o'clock out here in the parking lot. It's going to be just absolutely wonderful, and we encourage you to stop off and do that. Hey, I'm getting a number of requests. If you've been a regular listener over the years, every once in a while we throw in Wagner's Rules of Life. And there's some very, very astute observations, including nothing good happens outside a strip club at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's just the truth. And of course, leading up to Wagner's Rule of Life number 1, which is something that we've been, living by for 25 years, which is, life is tough, get a helmet. But I have been asked on multiple occasions, hey, before you leave, can you go through, some of the rules of life? So in this hour of the program on Monday, in the 1 o'clock hour of the program on Monday, we're gonna take the top 10 Wagner's Rules of Life, and we're going to go through them. So we're going to have a record, everything consolidated in one place. So tune in. That's coming up Monday. And, of course, Monday is the beginning. I can't believe the time has gone by as quickly as it has. It seems like just yesterday they announced that I was leaving WTMJ and retiring and on December 15th. And there was a couple months to go. We've been running programs with me people saying we're going to promotions, and people saying we're going to miss you. I'm saying, I'm not going anywhere for a while. We've got a couple months. Well, that time has just absolutely flown by. So, I've got 5 more shows after today, and so got all sorts of stuff coming up next week. But during the 1 o'clock hour of the program on Monday, we will go back and we'll pull out, we'll go into the vault, we'll pull out the top 10 Wagner's Rules of Life, and we'll run through them one more time. All right, you perhaps saw this story because it was perfect for TV news, because you had just all these amazing pictures of destruction. It happened yesterday morning. I think it was like shortly before noon. I think it was like 11:45 or so. It was around 11 o'clock, 11:30. Okay, so what happened is and this is according to the UW Police Department. They get called for a report of a car theft in progress. Okay, there's a car theft that's going on. Before officers arrive, police say suspects took off. Officers attempted a traffic stop. So the people who are trying to steal the car, they are fleeing from the police. Officers attempt a traffic stop. The driver of the car, this is Milwaukee, what do? They run. So they took off. As they take off, they strike a bicyclist. And thankfully that bicyclist was not injured. As officers stopped to help the cyclist, the suspects continued to get away. Eventually, the driver of the car hit 3 other vehicles before the car came to rest and quickly started a fire at Kramer and Linwood. It wasn't long before police said the vehicle was fully engulfed in flame. There are 4 suspects, 3 males and a female. And if you've seen the pictures of this, it's just absolutely, stunning. Because what happens is the car careens into, so you got cars that are parked on the street. So you have this car, the car that's driven by the bad guys, smashes into a car that's parked on the street, and then elevates that car. That car goes up in the air, is now on top of the one car. Then it hits another car, and it's up. So these cars are stacked one on top of each other because of the force with which this happened. Then, of course, the bad guys get out of the car. They run away. Then there is an explosion, and all these cars end up going up in flame. How it is that somebody is not dead, whether it's the bicyclist or whether it's nearby, passers-by or whatever, it really is but for the grace of God. But again, it's another one of these situations caused by people who just are driving in a reckless fashion. So this was not the only event like this yesterday. This is the way today's TMJ4 reported it. Series of stolen police cars represent a troubling trend in Milwaukee. That's the headline. No kidding. In just over 12 hours in different parts of the city, law enforcement engaged in chases of stolen vehicles that all resulted in crashes. Here's the way they report it. Starting Wednesday night around 5 p.m., Milwaukee police attempted to stop a vehicle driving recklessly and disregarding traffic signals near South 13th and West Layton Avenue. The vehicle eventually crashed into a daycare vehicle with 10 children inside. No children were seriously hurt, and the 22-year-old driver was taken into custody. Okay, so that's again, police try to stop a car driving recklessly. The car takes off, smashes into the daycare van. About 8 hours later, around 3:17 a.m. yesterday, Thursday morning, another pursuit occurred. This time, MPD officers spotted a stolen vehicle near 91st and Silver Spring. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. They ended up chasing, and ultimately, the car smashes into, about 3 miles later, is disabled, smashes into a pole. The occupants get out. One of them is carrying a gun. The car was The car was reported stolen, and I believe they were suspected and had been involved in a shooting earlier in the day. One of the 2 people in the car is carrying a gun. They run from the cops, and the police ended up shooting both of them. And both are going to survive. But again, they're running from the police. Then around 11:15 in the morning yesterday, there's that situation I just told you on at UWM. And one of the things, and then the report on today's TMJ4 says that police chases are on a dramatic increase in the last 5 years. And it just talks about how the number of posted police chases has gone through the roof. And we're now at a point where it almost seems that on any given day, you can find 3 or 4 or 5 situations where you've had cars that are stolen that have been pursued, cars that are driving recklessly, cars that are involved in, hey, we believe this car is involved in a homicide. At least it's tied to somebody who's involved in a homicide. And, of course, the position now is instead of pulling over, you run. And it's interesting to me because, of course, when you run, you put the lives of innocent people in harm's way, because if you're driving 90 miles an hour, you're going to lose control of this car and bad things can end up happening. All right, so the issue here is that you've got some people who are out there wringing their hands and saying, you know what the problem is in Milwaukee? The problem is the police are chasing too blank many of these cars. And yeah, you see the car that's driving 95 miles an hour. If they don't pull over when you put on the bubble lights, you should let them go. You see the car that's wanted in connection with the homicide. Oh, well, they don't want to pull over, let them go. You see the car that's stolen, you go to try to pull it over, let them go. You see the car that's just run through 3 red lights, they don't want to pull over, let them go. Maybe you'll find them some other time. Our number is 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Now, a number of years ago, when Tom Barrett was the mayor and Ed Flynn was the police chief, they gave in to this. They said, okay, we are essentially not going to let police in Milwaukee chase unless you have probable cause essentially to believe that somebody has committed a crime of violence, which meant for all intents and purposes, because most of the times you don't exactly know why it is that the people are running. So it meant for all intents and purposes, you're going to not be able to chase very much. That, of course, didn't work. So now they chase. And the result is people run, and the bad guys lots of times end up causing all sorts of carnage. But of course, they're running for a reason. Many times those reasons is they have committed crimes and they are trying to get away from the crimes. So let's tee this up. 855-616-1620. Whenever somebody runs, there's always the potential that they're going to hurt somebody who is innocent. That's the reality. Is that a justification for just simply letting them get away? Because that's the reality of what's going to happen most of the times. You let people get away. Somebody's driving a stolen car, and the stolen car is wanted in connection with a homicide or whatever. You let that person get away. You're going to find the stolen car abandoned, on the other side of town, but you're not necessarily going to find the people that are in it. Can we afford, given the wave of crime that we have, to allow people to just flee? Should cops not chase? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Oh, man, I hope it's not another cold day out in Wisconsin.
When Old Man Winter comes knocking, we're here to help keep you safe in the thick of it.
Winter weather advisory tonight and power outages in River West.
Snowy skies will make way for sub-zero temperatures over the next few hours.
With severe weather coverage on WTMJ. Sponsored by Fleet Farm. Proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Your wealth, your legacy, your taxes. Without a doubt, they've changed from where you started. Is your old financial plan keeping up? It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Strategy Review. It's the best place to start with Annex. No high-pressure sales. No advice that's not in your best interest. Zero commissions. We're not just looking for the lowest taxes today. We look through retirement and determine the best tax path for you and your family. Get an Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Strategy Review. Visit annexwealth.com/taxsmart.
We all want a healthy, thriving community, and we all thrive when we share our time, talent, treasure, and ties. The Greater Milwaukee Foundation is partnering with the community through the Greater Together campaign. Join the foundation in this campaign to advance racial equity through investments in housing, early childhood education, and more. Make an impact today and for generations to come at GreaterMilwaukeeFoundation.org/campaign. Together, we can build a Milwaukee for all.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Now, my knee injury was a lagging problem, and I'm grateful every day for the surgery that put me back in the game thanks to OAW. But if you or one of the young athletes maybe in your house needs orthopedic care right away, you don't have to go to the emergency room. The Ortho ASAP Clinic has hours Monday through Saturday in Pewaukee and Monday through Friday in Brookfield. Walk right in. Now you're in the hands of the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Visit them at orthowisconsin.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Paul Bartolotta of the Bartolotta Restaurants with the perfect gift idea for your holiday season. A Bartolotta gift card. With so many unique restaurants to choose from, Ristorante Bartolotta, Bacchus, Lake Park Bistro, Harbor House, and more. They select the restaurant, we create the memories. So purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Once again, we're here at Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas toy drive at the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton. I will be here till 3 o'clock. Then Greg Matzik is going to be in. We're helping a worthy cause, trying to encourage you to donate toys to local charities and low-income and disadvantaged families. If you miss us today, you can still help and still the value of giving, because Capco is going to be running their toy drive all day tomorrow, Saturday, December 9th. Okay, just in the space of about 12 hours yesterday, you had 3 big-time, high-speed chases, including one where 2 of the people in the car, after crashing the car, got out. One was armed, ran away. The police chased, ending up in a police shooting. Yesterday, you had people who were trying to steal a car, 11:15 in the morning, right by UWM, trying to steal a car. They flee. They end up hitting a bicyclist, then smashing into a series of parked cars, and the whole thing ends up like a giant fireball. They're still at large. But if you read some media outlets, the take on this is, well, maybe we should stop chasing. I mean, everybody runs from the cops nowadays, so maybe the answer is, let's just let them go. Let's just let them run. What could possibly go wrong with that? 855-616-1620. Joe in Milwaukee. Joe, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hi, Jeff. I just wanted to weigh in. I live in the 3rd Ward in Milwaukee, and my perspective is that we absolutely should chase. And I view it from the standpoint that someone's been victimized once when the car was either stolen or whatever crime has already occurred. And if we just let them go, there's a high likelihood, in my opinion, that they're going to victimize someone else again. I guess the second part of this equation to me would be that once we commit to the chase and we actually follow it through, there does need to be the appropriate punishment that goes with it. You can't just bail these people out and let it all reoccur again, because then I would make the argument that maybe that risk isn't quite worth it. But if the system worked the way I would prefer it to work, then I think it is absolutely worth chasing, knowing that risk exists.
Yeah, Joe, thanks so much for the call, and thanks for joining us. You are exactly right in everything you said, because as somebody who is an advocate of chasing, and by the way, you always have to have an asterisk with this. I mean, there will be times when engaging in the chase is just too dangerous. Puts the life of the police officers at risk, puts the lives of innocents at risk. So you have to be able to use at least some discretion. So I'm not saying that there has to be this absolute thing that you always chase under circumstances. You have to use a degree of common sense to that. But I'm exactly with you. You incentivize. We cannot incentivize criminal behavior, and that is what you do when you essentially say, if you run, you're going to get away. That's what happened. That's what happened during the end of the Flynn Barrett era, where the word just got out that commit crimes, run away, sell drugs out of a mobile drug house, and then as soon as they try to pull you over, just take off. You won't be followed. So that's it. But Joe, you are absolutely 100% right when you talk about the other aspect of this, and this is there needs to be a follow-up. And unfortunately, we have a district attorney's office, which is, to say the district attorney's office is soft on crime would be to insult people who are soft on crime. I mean, that's just the reality. There needs to be consequences. There needs to be charges that are brought. There needs to be situations where we don't just plea bargain this stuff away. And then, when you do get convictions, you need to have judges that exercise a degree of common sense, recognizing that when you run in a car, when you flee from the police, when you're involved in these type of accidents, it's a big deal. So you need all these different elements, but it starts with, yes, should you chase? Absolutely you should chase. And then there should be consequences for people running from the cops, because if there's no consequences, what's going to happen? They will end up doing that. All right, here's some texts. Jeff, the police should not chase. Too many innocent lives are put at risk. I don't believe in chases. The criminals will get caught eventually, because that's what they do. Continue to commit crimes which will lead to their arrest at some point. Let me stop there for a minute. Let's stop for just a moment and think about that. You have, I don't know, a car that is involved in a homicide or involved in a shooting. All right? Hey, car involved in a shooting. Beep, 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 beep. All right, let's just let them drive off. They decide that they are going to flee. Oh, we'll catch them eventually. Well, yeah, you might catch them eventually, but how many more people will they kill before you end up catching them. I mean, seriously, is that a reasonable response to this? You know, if anybody's ever had their car stolen, for example, all right, all of a sudden you see somebody, and again, my theory is that if you've stolen one car, you've stolen 10 or 20. And so, okay, you let the person drive off in the stolen car, saying, okay, well, we'll catch them eventually. Maybe, maybe not. The clearance rate for car thefts, what is it, 4%? That's the number I think we had, like 4%. Yeah, how many more people are going to be victimized because we've let the car thief drive off? Now, again, don't get me started on the court system, where once in the situation, the one time out of 10 that the cops catch the car thief and he gets prosecuted, well, then it goes over to the DA's office, and the DA's office kicks the case or puts it on probation or doesn't process it, and then finally you get somebody prosecuted and it gets in front of a Milwaukee County Circuit judge who doesn't do anything to them. So, I mean, I understand there's all those other follow-ups, but if you don't chase this idea that, well, we'll catch him eventually, well, what is that? What does that say? We'll get them eventually. Who cares? Let them get away so they steal another 50 or 60 cars. It's no big deal. Jeff, if I remember a few years back, Milwaukee stopped chasing. I believe this is when crime rose in the city. That's true, because if they ran and didn't get chased down, then why not do it? You don't chase, you get away with it, so why not? 855-616-1620. Jeff, none of these cars would be getting stolen if there was an automatic 5-year jail sentence that was attached to it. Well, there is an element of that. That's the consequences. Jeff, of course cops need to chase, but then how about having actual consequences for habitual criminals? Whatever happened to when Grand Theft Auto was a serious crime, now it's treated like a kid's game. It's a very, very sad state of affairs, which I think there is an element of truth to that entire situation. Jeff, Milwaukee police are between a rock and a hard space. Criminals and Milwaukee leaders. Why is crime out of control in Milwaukee? No leadership. I understand they will be appalled. All right, well, people are appalled at it, but they don't do anything about it. Jeff, I don't agree with letting them go in regards to these criminals. Common sense tells us this has not worked. Just look at the uptick in stolen cars, reckless driving, and crime in general. We need to get back to the basic common sense policing and get criminals punished. See, this is not a difficult concept. I think everybody understands that this is what you're supposed to be doing and this is where they should be. But of course we have people saying, well, I would rather let the criminals get away than risk the fact that some innocent could end up getting hurt. And I appreciate that sentiment. I do. But at the same time, how many more crimes will you let the person commit? If you got somebody that's willing to drive away at 95 miles an hour and run through all sorts of red lights, I mean, you think that just because the police aren't going to follow them, that means they're not going to start committing crimes? No, the reality is that they're going to continue to do that. Alan in Sheboygan. Alan, you're on WTMJ. Hi, Alan.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
I can. What do you think?
Okay, good. I think they ought to make some mandatory sentences, and then these judges can't fudge the thing. If you go steal a car, you're getting 10 10 years. And like yesterday when this guy crashed and he totaled out basically four cars, that's 40 years. You got 10 years per car. And then I also feel that these guys that went on a chase and got out the car and they shot at the policeman, that's an automatic 50 years, and they're not eligible for any bail.
Well, Alan, thanks for the call. I think I'm not sure you have enough jail space with those type of sentences, but I am a big proponent of mandatory sentencing. And unfortunately, the problem is in Milwaukee, you have a district attorney who believes that what we need to do is bend over backwards to not hold people who commit various types of crimes accountable. And if they continue to commit crimes, well, they continue to commit crimes, and we'll just end up living with it. I mean, I do think you should have mandatory minimum sentencing. I've made this argument. If you run from police at 95 miles an hour and you slam into another car, create property damage, or Lord forbid, hit and injure somebody, yeah, I think you should be in prison for 5 to 10 years. No excuses, do not pass go. I believe the same thing is true with firearms. I'm sick of all this conversation about, well, there's too many guns in society. I don't disagree with that. But the real problem is there's too many guns in society in the hands of the wrong people. And when people commit crimes with guns, like, I don't know, pulling a gun out in a grocery store and in the struggle end up shooting somebody else, why don't we hold those people accountable instead of just saying, okay, we're going to plea this down to some misdemeanor, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put people on probation. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You cannot be outraged at gun violence. You cannot be outraged at car theft. You can't be outraged at reckless driving and all the consequences, and then at the same time say, okay, let's figure out different ways and that we can, again, find it, not hold people accountable. I continue to believe that this is one of the areas where the chattering class, the liberal elites, the progressively educated prosecutors, many of the judges who are uncomfortable holding people accountable, and some people in the news media, I think this is an example of where they are way behind where the general public is. Because I think the general public is sick to you-know-what of all this crime and people who commit crimes not being held accountable. And if that means you chase, it means you chase. And if it means that the person who's running commits another crime by injuring property or injuring somebody else, well, then you put them in prison for even longer. And maybe, just maybe, the message will get out that we're not going to tolerate this. But right now, that's certainly not the message. People don't care. They're going to run. They're going to try to do everything they can get away. And you know why they do it? It's because they know they can. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere. But the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Gave me a list. Gave me a note, Jeff. Thanks for the countless hours of great talk radio, information, entertainment. Milwaukee and Wisconsin are better off because of your work. We will miss you and your show. And we're about the same age when you bring up your younger days, high school, college, parental upbringing. It brings me back to those times and many similarities. Wish you the best in retirement. Someday I hope to buy you a brew and thank you in person. Well, they stopped off. And in addition to that, gave me $50 for a Capco's Kids to Kids toy drive. If you are watching us on our YouTube channel, okay, there it is. It's $50, and during the break, I'm going to find somebody from Capco, and we'll make sure this gets there. Thank you so very much. I say this to all of you who've been listening for all these decades. The truth is, while no show runs forever, as I say, and it's time for me to figure out what the third act is going to be in my life, if anything. The first being the practicing law, second have been 25 plus years on the radio. Don't know what the third act is going to be, if anything, but there's no question I am going to miss our daily conversations. I'm going to miss you more than you're going to miss me. You guys will move on. I understand that. I'm cool with that. That's the nature of the business. But it doesn't mean I just don't appreciate all this. So thanks to everybody out there for supporting Capco, for supporting me, for supporting the station all these years. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
With crushing inflation affecting so many families, you can still enjoy a super affordable meal and Friday fish fry at the famous Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mine Shaft. It's been locally family owned for over 46 years. I've been taking my kids and family here for more than a decade. The food is delicious. Huge portions, holiday lights and decorations. It's super fun. Most breakfasts are $8.99 or less every Wednesday and Friday. The fish fry is just $9.99 and all you can eat. Don't pay $16 to $20 for a fish fry. It's $9.99 at the Mine Shaft. That's a crazy low price. Desserts are buy one, get one free, even today, even during the holidays. Your kids and grandkids can safely play in that world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area. And the Saturday prime rib dinner is under $25. Sunday brunch, under $15. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. Enjoy the all-you-can-eat fish fry today for under $10. Reserve your table, MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Set your independence in motion. It starts with PACE at Community Care. The program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, also known as PACE, offers complete medical and long-term care services. A team of dedicated healthcare professionals coordinates all aspects of care to support independent living as long as possible. Learn more about a community that cares. Visit joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE. That's joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE.
If you found yourself in a desolate wilderness, wouldn't you feel better if someone who knew the way out was there with you? When life becomes uncharted territory, rough terrain, find refuge, shelter, and safe haven in Christ. Hear more on this from Dr. Michael Ziegler this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them all throughout the holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From spectacular brunch events to a holiday marketplace to one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at the hotel. Special packages are now available. Make your plans today to celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
From the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton, it's Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
One of the very cool things about this particular remote, this is my last remote, a number of our regular listeners, people have been stopping by. Lori from Fond du Lac, who's one of our regular texters, stopped by, brought toys. That's very, very cool. And we'll be here for, WTMJ will be here until 6 o'clock. I'm here for another hour or so. You know, we're going to lighten it up in the next hour. One of the problems I'm having, and if you watch this on the stream, is I have all these topics that I accumulate. You know, you never, people say, do you ever run out of things to say? And I can honestly say that in, 25 years here at WTMJ and a couple more years doing this up to dial, I've never ended a show without having a whole stack of stuff to do. So at the end of every day, I have this huge stack of topics that I've never gotten to. So I just accumulate them. And then the folder gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I always think I'm going to do them someday. I'm now at that point where I'm running out of time to do these topics. So we're going to leave so much good stuff stuff on the table. There's no question about it. But we are going to lighten it up in the next hour. Before that, though, I did want to comment. My comment is about time. Yesterday, the United States Department of Justice out of California issued a multiple count indictment against Hunter Biden, which is, long overdue. Earlier this year, he was indicted for guns in connection in Delaware with making false statements in connection with the purchase of guns. That I don't know how that one's going to turn out, but this is the big deal. 56-page indictment. And take some free legal advice from a recovering lawyer here. You never want to see your name at the top of an indictment. United States of America versus, in this case, Hunter Biden. 56-page indictment, 3 counts of evasion of a tax assessment, failure to pay and file taxes, and filing a fraudulent or false tax return. The indictment sets forth a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in self-assessed federal taxes he owed for the years 2016 through 2019. During that time, including going into October of 2020, he spent money on drugs, escorts, girlfriends, luxury hotels, rental property, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of a personal nature. If convicted, he could face up to 17 years in prison. Hunter Biden's not going to jail for 17 years. That's not going to happen. But he is a crook. He is a tax fraud. And this prosecution, whatever this says about his dad, let's put that one whole aside. This is a prosecution which has been a long time in coming. All right, after the top of the hour news, we're going to, it is the holiday season. We're out here at Capco, Kids to Kids Christmas. We're going to lighten it up a little bit. All that's coming up right after the top of the hour news.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Vince Vitrano here from Wisconsin's Morning News, reminding you to subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast. We update it every day with every segment, every interview, and every bit we do on the show. Wait, we don't do bits on the show.
If my intelligence is artificial, then why am I smarter than you?
Absolutely boat racing.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
All right, maybe we do some bits.
F you.
Subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast wherever you get your podcasts or listen live on WTMJ.com.
Get the gift of savings Friday through Sunday, in-store only during Fleet Fest at Fleet Farm. Get a $10 gift card when you buy $50 in toys for the kids. Take an extra 20% off all varieties of wild bird food. And save $10 instantly on any $75 purchase for a limited time only with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store this Friday through Sunday for even more Fleet Fest deals at Fleet Farm, where we have everything you need for everyone on your list.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. My lower back and neck feels so much better after a few months' care with Dr. Alex and his team. But here's the thing. It's not only neck and back. Testimonials from my fellow patients. One young lady said, my stomach feels better. Another woman said she no longer has pain in her knees. Many patients talk about getting better sleep. It's worth a consultation with Connect Chiropractic to see how they can help. Book your first appointment at goconnectchiro.com.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands. Your love isn't confined to an advent calendar. It doesn't stop when the Christmas lights come down. With the Salvation Army, your love lasts all year long. It puts a present under someone's tree today and a roof over someone's head tomorrow. It brightens Christmas morning and the hardest nights for hardworking families. Together, we can love beyond Christmas. Donate today to support local families all year long at samilwaukee.org.
Brighten up your home, workplace, or event with flowers and trust Welke's Milwaukee Florist to be your local florist. Welke's is family-owned and has delivered beauty for customers and businesses for well over 100 years. Join Welke's flower subscription so your home is always fresh, or discover the benefits of creating a corporate account and leave the work to them. Welke's Milwaukee Florist has locations in Elm Grove and at 56th and North in Milwaukee. Go to welkes.com, that's WELKES.com for more info and to place an order.
So I came to Advent because I was experiencing recurrent sinus infections. As a new mom, it was really kind of difficult.
Many of our patients complain of sinus infections. The headaches, fatigue, and nasal stuffiness have a profound effect on their lives.
I just felt like your sickness starts affecting your energy level and, the things that you really enjoy doing. That really was a breaking point for me.
So Molly came to Advent. Abnormally tight sinuses and swollen turbinates led to simple breathing triangle solutions that ended up taking about 20 minutes in office. And very soon thereafter, she was breathing freely.
I'm just in awe at the amount of air that that I'm able to breathe in and out each night, and I haven't had a sinus infection since the procedure.
I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. When you breathe well, you do live better.
Results may vary.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper-Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ is live at the Capco Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive at the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton. And we're still accepting monetary donations. Anything you can give helps. Head to WTMJ.com and click on the Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive under the Features tab. Thank you for making a difference this holiday season. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. It's 2:02. We have cloudy skies and 56 degrees. Rain late tonight with a low of 43. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Republicans in Madison say a compromise with the universities of Wisconsin over employee pay raises held up over diversity, equity, and inclusion programs is near, though the university system disagrees.
The announcement by Republicans comes after months of negotiations and very public disagreements between the two parties. Under the deal, the universities would reimagine diversity efforts, restructure dozens of staff into new positions, and freeze the total number of diversity and administrative positions for the next 3 years. In exchange, $800 million would be allocated for pay raises and a new UW-Madison engineering building. A UW spokesperson contested the news, telling the Associated Press an end to negotiations was not at hand. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
U.S. employers added nearly 200,000 jobs in November, and average hourly earnings ticking higher while the unemployment rate is falling to near 50-year lows. ABC's Alexis Christoforous on what the Fed might do in response.
The Fed meets next week, last meeting of the year, to decide the fate of interest rates. Most economists do believe that given this report today, the Fed is not going to raise interest rates. In fact, it's expected to stand pat on rates for the third consecutive meeting.
The Israel-Hamas war raging in the Gaza Strip as the U.S. warns Israel must put a premium on civilian protection. A major crossing from Israel into Gaza is set to reopen to allow supplies of water, food, and medicine to arrive by truck. The death toll from the war now over 18,000, 140 people still being held hostage in Gaza. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley reflecting on 2023 and looking ahead.
Crowley tells 1017 The Truth the opportunities unlocked by Act 12 and the sales tax means
we were able to put together a budget, not having to worry about what cuts will be least harmful to this community and really focus on the investments.
Those investments include a major focus on affordable housing throughout the county.
You're seeing developments happening in Brown Deer, developments happening in Wildwood Tulsa. We're having conversations right now in Oak Creek, as well as those single-family homes, over 100 single-family homes in the King Park neighborhood.
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money at the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 139 points at 36,258. S&P 500 up 18. The Nasdaq is up 62. It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/tax-smart. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:05.
When you see our selection of gently worn brand name girls and women's clothing, you'll love what you find, and you'll love the prices. So low that you won't believe your eyes. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll find something cute, maybe a whole new outfit, for so much less. Gently worn brand name clothing at far below retail. You're gonna love it. On Highway 100 at Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Hi, I'm Chef Paul Bartolotta of the Bartolotta Restaurants with the perfect gift idea for your holiday season. a Bartolotta gift card. With so many unique restaurants to choose from, Mr. B Steakhouses, Brookfield and Mequon, Joy Gerard's, Ristorante Bartolotta, the Commodore, and more. They select the restaurant, we create the memories. So purchase a gift card at Bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit?
Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 9th.
It's a totally free event. Capco is dedicated to bringing communities together and has collected nearly 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids.
Join us in WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season.
To support, visit kidstokids.toydrive.com.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Give their favorite gift this holiday season with the 2024 Brewers Kids Crew Kit presented by U.S. Bank. Each kit sets up for an epic new year with 6 ticket vouchers, a ballpark tour, and exclusive Kids Crew swag, including a Brewers City Connect jersey. Check off everything on their wish list for just $35. Order by December 17th for guaranteed holiday delivery. Learn more at brewers.com/kidscrew.
The Milwaukee Bucks' luck runs out in Vegas as they fall to the Indiana Pacers in the semi-round of the NBA's inaugural in-season tournament. This one by a final score of 128-119. Giannis led the Bucks with 37 points and added 10 rebounds, but ultimately his team fell short.
Biggest thing I believe is that we gotta want it. You know, it's nobody's going to give you nothing.
Following the loss, Milwaukee will now have a couple of days off before they host Chicago on Monday night. The third-ranked Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball team is moving on to the Elite Eight after knocking out 14th-ranked Penn State Thursday night 3-1 at the UW Fieldhouse in Madison. The Badgers will match up with Oregon on Saturday night. And lastly, Week 14 of the NFL season kicked off on Thursday night. The Patriots beating the Steelers by a final score of 21-18. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Again, no major delays to report. They are, except at that construction zone, I-43 southbound. Those delays are starting to stack up a little bit. Normally about an 11-minute drive. It's going to take you about 17 minutes. Northbound is about an 11-minute commute. And 94 southbound from the Marquette Interchange to Layton Avenue running about 6 this afternoon.
Traffic is sponsored by Wagner Compressor, ready to service any facility at pressureisoff.biz.
Servicing world-class Wisconsin manufacturers for 9 decades. Contact Wagner Compressor at pressureisoff.biz.
Wagner Compressor.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Look for rain later on tonight with an overnight low of 43 and rain early tomorrow. Then mostly cloudy, breezy with a high 49. Temperatures are going to fall in the afternoon. It's going to be mostly cloudy Sunday with a high of 37 and maybe some flurries Sunday morning. Mostly sunny Monday, high 39. Partly sunny and breezy Tuesday with a high of 40. Madison at 54, Green Bay 51, Milwaukee 55 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 209.
This is the Jeff Wagner Show, live from the Kasmeric Center for Human Performance in Grafton for the Capco Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive. And now, here is your host, Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. I will tell you, when I leave, some of the things that I am going to miss, in addition to these wonderful events that we do with charity and depending on your the auspices of your good nature, it is some of the stupid texts that we get. So at the end of the last hour, I was talking about the Hunter Biden thing and how this indictment was a long time coming, and how, I mean, the allegations are he owed over $1.4 million in taxes. Okay, he didn't pay taxes. It's not just that he made $1.4 million, didn't pay. He owed over $1.4 million. Right. So here's one of the texts. The only reason Hunter Biden is going through this is because his last name is Biden, and the GOP needs to get something on Biden. If the average person did what he did, slap on the wrist, pay it back, it's the GOP getting revenge. Let me stop there. $1.4 million. Okay, show me those average people. Can I see those of you who are driving around or listening to me right now? All those of you who've evaded taxes and owe the IRS $1.4 million, all you average people, can I see the show of hands that you think you should get away with it? What did they continue? Give me a break. Have fun on your retirement. Don't let the door close on your way out. Nah, see, I'm going to miss trolls like this. Oh, it's just because he's Biden. No, he's a crook, for goodness sakes. $1.4 million that you owe the IRS. Now, they took out loans and stuff and repaid it, but it doesn't change the fact that he's a fraud and a cheat to begin with, and you cannot do that. $1.4 million. But okay, it's Joe Biden's kid. It's just the GOP that's out there trying to get him. Somebody else says, well, everyone, including Donald Trump, should pay his fair share of taxes. Look, I haven't argued this. I mean, if there's evidence that Donald Trump committed tax fraud, charge him with it. But at least at this point in time, with all the different things that Trump has been investigated for, I don't think they have a tax fraud case. Sorry, those of you who want to see him perp walk for tax fraud, I don't think anybody suggests there's not a case. Now, you can say he overinflated his income and things like that, but there's, at least at this point in time, the IRS doesn't claim that he, that he owes $1.4 million in back taxes that he fraudulently evaded, a la Hunter Biden. Just saying, okay. Give me a break. If it was anybody but Hunter Biden, they'd walk. It's $1.4 million. Okay, let's switch gears. I want to lighten it up. We typically do this in the 2 o'clock hour on Fridays. Lots of serious stuff, and I want to talk about some more fun things. We're out here at Capco. I'm running out of time for different topics and things like that. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, it will be our final pop culture corner, something that we've done in one form or another for the better part of the last 25 years. And I'll actually give you a little bit of the history of pop culture corner as well as we kind of circle back to the beginning. But before that, we've been talking about holidays. We've been talking about Christmases. And I thought we would have a little bit of fun and take a walk down memory lane. Our number, 855-616-1620, which is the Old National Bank talk and text line. Christmas is coming up in a couple weeks. I want you to take a walk down memory lane, and here is my question. The most memorable Christmas ever. Now, maybe it's that Christmas when you were a kid and you got that gift that you just wanted. Maybe it's your first Christmas with, your firstborn child. Maybe it's the first Christmas that you and your spouse were together. Maybe it's the Christmas right after you came back from the military service. I don't know what it would be. But now be careful doing this if you're driving your car. But just take a minute, close your eyes for just a second, or figuratively speaking, do that if you're driving the car, and think, okay, most memorable Christmas ever. What is it that pops into your mind? 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Back to take a walk down memory lane. We're broadcasting live from Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas in Grafton. Your most memorable Christmas ever. You can define memorable however you want. 855-616-1620. We discuss.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit?
Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 9th.
It's a totally free event. Capco is dedicated to bringing communities together and has collected nearly 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids.
Join us in WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season.
To support, visit kidstokidstoydrive.com.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Happy holidays. This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner for Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built Right's overstocked and overstacked sale is on now. Look, our friends at Built Right, they always save you money. 4 generations, 95 years strong. The 3rd and 4th generation family members are on hand working in the store along with their amazing team with over 400 years of experience. You will find thousands of items in stock for guaranteed delivery by the holidays. Hard to find jewelry armoires and kids' rockers. 150 styles of recliners and 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. A Built Right gift certificate is a great holiday gift as well. USA made, small scale, Amish made, real solid wood. Built Right has furniture and mattresses pieces for everyone, from petite to plus size, and they can work with your budget. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 Retailer of the Year. Shop Monday through Saturday. They open at 10, they close at 6. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, be sure to tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right Furniture, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Set your independence in motion. It starts with PACE at Community Care. The program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, also known as PACE, offers complete medical and long-term care services. A team of dedicated healthcare professionals coordinates all aspects of care to support independent living as long as possible. Learn more about a community that cares. Visit joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE. That's joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE.
Prepare the way of the Lord. It's Advent, and this is Archbishop Listecki. We in the Catholic Church are in the middle of the Eucharistic revival, spreading the word about the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. During Mass, the bread and the wine become the body and blood of Christ, and we receive Jesus at every Mass. If you haven't been in church lately, Advent is the perfect time to renew your relationship with Jesus, the only true joy you'll experience in this life. Join us at Mass and experience the love of Jesus in the Eucharist.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Okay, the holidays are coming up. Let's have a little bit of fun. Your most memorable Christmas, 855-616-1620. And you can define memorable however you want. Let's start with Todd in Watertown. Todd, you're first. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Jeff. What a fun topic. And I'd like to say I was one of your previous pizza prize package winners. So
oh, good. Thanks.
It's awesome.
Thanks for playing.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me play. So my most memorable Christmas was I think in 72 or 73. We lived in Chicago, and my dad took a job up here, and he made quite a bit more money. But at any rate, that Christmas Eve, I had two younger sisters that were like 3 and 5 years younger than me, and I think I was like 7 or 8. At any rate, we were kind of looking out our, we're in my bedroom, or, looking for Santa Claus and coming across the sky, and all of a sudden I looked at, and my sisters weren't looking, and I see my dad pushing up a little motorcycle. It was a Benelli 65. And I'm like, whoa, because all my neighbors, they all had motorcycles. We lived in Dousman, and you could ride around. And I'm thinking, wow, for one, it was really cool. And the second was a bummer, because then I realized there wasn't a Santa. So then the next morning, I get up and I'm thinking, where is it? You know what I mean? And I kind of had to play stupid, which I did. And I got a bunch of other really neat things. And my dad's like, oh, go look out in the garage. And then I had to put on my best acting hat and act like I was really surprised. I mean, it was cool, but that's my most favorite Christmas.
Todd, thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. The only thing I dispute is the whole concept of, I don't know what you mean when you say no Santa. I think Santa exists. I think Santa's going to be here for good little boys and girls, and maybe good grown-up boys and girls on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. 855-616-1620. I think I just saw her, Lori in Fond du Lac. Lori, you're on the road on the way back home?
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Lori.
Yep. I'm being careful on the road. Hi. One of my most memorable Christmases was when our family went down to Disney World for Christmas. We drove.
Oh, we lost Lori. Oh, right in the middle of the sentence. I'm sorry, Lori. Thanks for the gifts for Capco. Jeff, my most memorable Christmas was before my mom died. We had the most beautiful tree that she loved, filled with special ornaments. She died the following February. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well, Jill. Jeff, 2 years ago, my spouse and I went to New York City to see the holiday decor and Rockefeller tree, 5th Avenue, Macy's on 34th. It was magical. We also saw the Bucks versus Knicks at Madison Square Garden, and the Bucks won. Definitely a bucket list experience. Jeff, when I got Packers and pajamas, a Packer pajamas, I definitely remember jumping up and down. That was kind of memorable. Jeff, let's see. Here's text, my most memorable Christmas. I was 5 years old. I wanted a bike. I wanted nothing but a bike. I got a bike, and the price of it, I didn't get to open up another present for the whole Christmas. I'm the sibling, one of 8. Actually, my wife is one of 8 as well. Everybody was opening gifts one after another. I came down and looked at my bike. That's all I wanted. I was super happy. Thanks for all the years. I'm a super fan. I've been listening for decades. Well, thank you very much for listening. Jeff, mine would have been around 1969. I was 7 years old. Christmas Eve, we would venture out and visit all my cousins. My dad was one of 16, and we would end up attending midnight mass. Great memories. I've been trying to think about this memorable Christmases, and again, there's been so many just wonderful Christmases. But I mean, my criteria was, okay, close your eyes, and what's the first memory that you have? And it goes back to my late wife and I had just been married, and we lived in this apartment, and we had our first. Well, I don't know. It was a first real Christmas tree. We had a real Christmas tree in any event, and it was this big Christmas tree because Sue loved big Christmas trees. And the apartment had this long, narrow living room, and we were there. And what we would do on Christmas Eve was always at my parents' house. Christmas Day was always at her parents' house. And so it's Christmas Eve. We've gone to my parents' house, and we've opened up the gifts and done all those different things. We come back, and the tree has crashed. You walk in, and the tree is crashed, and the ornaments are smashed, and we both just kind of like, I remember just standing there, just kind of paralyzed, because first of all, it's sort of like, really, did this happen? And it was a mess. It was just a mess, and you're like paralyzed. Okay, it's Christmas Eve. What are you going to do, and how do you do it? And we ended up laughing about it. No question about it. But that was the first one that came to mind. But just so many wonderful Christmases, over the years. Jeff, I got to see my mother-in-law and sister-in-law get in a fist fight about 13 years ago. It was a memorable Christmas. Well, yeah, I guess that would have been memorable. Jeff, for me, most memorable Christmas, early 1970s. Dad was a volunteer firefighter. Gifts are all opened. Everyone in bed when the alarm goes off. He runs out the front door, but not without crushing all the toys. Well, that's the element of that as well. Christmas is just such a magical season. I mean, I remember some of the great Christmas gifts when I was a kid, and I certainly remember the fun of seeing, for example, my niece and nephew, open up their gifts and things like that. It's just, and it's just special. I mean, my Christmases right now are extremely special because since Fran and I have been married, her children are wonderful. Her grandchildren, which are now my grandchildren, are just absolutely wonderful. And there's this huge extended family that gets together on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And of course, we've got my brother and my niece and my nephew. And it's just, it's wonderful to be surrounded by all this family. And the holidays are also the time when you do kind of think back. And I think back to, my mom and dad who've been gone for quite a while now, and I miss my mom every day. There's just no question about it. And you think back on all the people that have kind of come into your life and come out of your life and things like that. And it's just, it makes you appreciate time together. And hopefully, you will make Christmas memories this year as well. That is my wish to you. All right, back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we talk about year-end tax planning and how it can have a big impact on your retirement.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
Hey, let's talk for a minute about Gruber Law Offices. David Gruber and I, we were in law school simultaneously. David's, I think, a year younger than I am at Marquette back in the day. They've been serving the people in the state of Wisconsin for over 35 years, and they get results that speak for themselves. And I'm here to tell you, you're not in business in that business in particular for over 35 years unless you're getting results. At Gruber Law, they help people and families who are seriously injured in accidents. They'll stand up for victims and take the burden off your shoulders. They focus on the legal aspect of things while their clients focus on healing. One call, they handle the rest. Providing the best care, service, and representation is their priority. At Gruber Law, they're one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. Family-owned, family-operated, but a large, powerful team with resources that take on insurance companies. And here's how it works. There's no cost to call. There's no cost to consult. There's no fee to retain the firm. Matter of fact, there's never a fee until they win your case. So check them out. It's gruber-law.com, or you can give them a call, 414-276-6666. They'll be glad to tell you more about their firm and share what they do in the community. Check them out.
Beyond where you play, there's a pickleball kingdom where you can take lessons, grab a bite to eat, shop the pro shop, or join a league. Pickleball Kingdom Brookfield is the newest professional indoor facility in the Milwaukee area with unlimited access to court time. They're offering over $100 off a 3-month membership gift certificate. Don't forget this perfect holiday gift in anticipation of Pickleball Kingdom's grand opening. Pickleball Kingdom Brookfield, opening spring 2024 at the Ruby Isle Shopping Center. pickleballkingdom.com/Brookfield.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead Accunet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at Accunet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at Accunet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
From the Kasmerick Center for Human Performance in Grafton, it's Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
I love those J-I-N-G-L-E bells. Oh, those holiday J-I-N-G-L-E
All right.
bells.
That's some modern Christmas music. That's okay. Once again, we are live at Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive at the Kasmerick Center for Human Performance in Grafton. I think everybody knows where the Capco facility is, just off of, you get off the interstate, go about 2 miles west, and then, we're kind of around the back in the Kasmerick Performance Center. So, Center for Human Performance. That's the technical name for it. Stop on by. I'm here for about another 40 minutes or so, but then Greg Matzik and Mike Spalding are here till 6 o'clock. But again, if you want to contribute and give, and you can't get out here, one of the things you can do is go to WTMJ.com. There's a big banner headline that says Kids to Kids Christmas. You can click on that, and there's all sorts of ways to give. And then, of course, tomorrow they'll be collecting toys all day, but their celebration of giving is from 3 till 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Going to be all sorts of people here, and that is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, and I was saying earlier, this has been, it's just been a great event. Charitable events come and go, and I remember when John Green and Jim Kasmerick came up with this 17 or 18 years ago, and they were first pitching the idea to us to say, hey, this is going to be a station charity, and this is going to be something that we're going to support. And I thought it was just a great idea, especially the concept of getting the kids involved in the spirit of giving. Hey, take your kids out and have them buy some toys and then have them make those donations. And I thought it was just a great idea. I will tell you honestly, I don't know that I ever thought that, 17 or 18 years later, we'd sitting here and we'd be looking at the way this has just exploded in popularity. But that's so, again, it's so very, very cool, and it's because of your willingness to contribute and your willingness to, again, the generosity of WTMJ listeners has just never ceased to amaze me, and it's been one of the fun things about working here for all these various years. And still getting a number of interesting texts from people who, people who are sharing their most memorable Christmas. December 1999, planning with my best friend, we were in Rockford, planning on having a huge New Year's party as again, we had Y2K, 1999 to the year 2000. That's another thing. People have been, getting calls to do interviews about, the last 25 years and things like that. And I remember the Y2K thing, which was for people who don't remember or weren't around at the time. This was when, the computers were going to switch from 1999 to 2000, and there were all these people out there saying they're not going to be able to do this, and computers are going to crash, and airplanes are going to fall out of the sky, and all these different things. And we really, at WTMJ, we had a contingent plan where we were going to be ready to go around the clock if the world did in fact end. And then, I remember being on the air, I think, when New Year's Eve in Australia hit, or New Year's Eve in China, or whatever, and the world did not end, and then concern about Y2K turned out to be non-existent. But anyhow, the texter is saying, I remember planning a big celebration for New Year's Day. I proposed to my girlfriend at midnight in my best friend's basement during the New Year's Eve party, trying to keep everything secret from her at Christmas time until the New Year's Eve party. Now, interestingly, the texter doesn't say whether she said yes or no and whether they're still together or not. But then kind of inquiring minds, end up wanting to know. Jeff, as my dad got older, I take him for a car ride Christmas Eve to look at the lights. And then we'd head over to Denny's near the stroke of midnight for a Grand Slam breakfast and watch complete strangers wish each other Merry Christmas. Huh. That's kind of an interesting concept, because that's always the thing. That there are people out there who don't have places to go along the holidays, and you do kind of wonder what it would be like to be in a Waffle House at midnight on Christmas Eve. Actually, where we are in Florida, there's a Waffle House about like 5 miles from where I live. If my wife is listening, I don't know that I'm serious about it, but it would be kind of interesting to see, what's that like. I was telling the story earlier. My minister, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him since then, but on Thanksgiving, he just simply made the decision that his family was going to have their Thanksgiving dinner in the church cafeteria sort of thing. And he just made a point of inviting anybody who didn't have a place to go, come on over and we'll share that. And I thought that was so very, very cool. All right, let me take a quick break. When we come back, like I say, all good things come to an end. Every Friday afternoon that I've been on the air for the last 25 years, we have done some variation of Pop Culture Corner. This is the last one, and I'll kick it off in just a couple minutes. Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this on WTMJ.
Here it is, just before the holidays. You're sitting around trying to figure out a perfect last-minute gift that you can order quickly online. Well, how about tickets to the Greater Milwaukee Auto Show in February? Buy a single ticket for a friend, a pair of tickets for date night, or buy a family 4-pack and take everybody all at a discount price of just $11 each. They can see all the latest vehicles, including cars, trucks, and the latest EVs. For advanced tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com. That's autoshowmilwaukee.com. Discount offer ends on December 24th.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit?
Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 9th.
It's a totally free event. Capco is dedicated to bringing communities together and has collected nearly 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids.
Join us in WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season.
To support, visit kidstokidstoydrive.com.
And don't forget to bring toys.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We looked at a few businesses that purchase homes, and Grandview seemed to be the one that had it together. Not only did we receive a fair offer, but we were able to take as much time as we needed and could leave the house a mess.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Get a 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. Gather round all. It's time for Wagner's Pop Culture Corner. Time to put aside the heavy lifting and have a good time at the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now, here's Jeff Wagner.
All right. Here is the history of this Pop Culture Corner feature. When you do what I do for a living, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, I fully acknowledge that most times we end up talking about a lot of the problems that are going on in the world. We talk about crime, we talk about taxes, we talk about wars. You talk about like a lot of the negative stuff. And early on, matter of fact, even before I was at WTMJ, I thought for Friday afternoon, just, we want to do a segment, let's lighten it up a little bit, and let's start with pop culture. And the way this started off years and years ago was a segment I used to call Friday Afternoon at the Movies. And we talk about movies because I'm a huge movie buff and have a bizarrely encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of movies. If I'd spent more time in law school, maybe I'd have been a better lawyer if I had done that. So, we started doing that. And then when I came over to WTMJ, I brought that feature with me, and we would do Friday Afternoon at the Movies. Back in the early days at WTMJ, we had these consultants that we worked with, and there was a consultant, and you'd have a meeting like once a month, who hated the feature. I mean, he hated the feature. And I could do but every time we'd have this meeting, I'd sit in these meetings and I'd get beaten up over doing this feature. And I said, no, I like it and people like it. And he would say, well, I just don't think it's very interesting when you just have people like list stuff off. I said, no, that's not what it's about. It's not like they just say, okay, this is my favorite song or whatever. But I said, but we end up interacting, and I think people find it interesting. Anyhow, I just get beaten up all the time about this. And so our compromise was we expanded it to pop culture things beyond movies and things like that. And I think the consultant still hated it. But a few years into this, the consultant went away, and 25 years later, I'm still here doing the show. And it's always been just kind of a fun thing to do. This is our last edition of Pop Culture Corner, simply because next week's the last show. I can't believe that, but next week's the last show. We got 5 shows left after today, and we got some special things, or at least I have some special things planned for that last day. So this is Pop Culture Corner. It is sponsored by Palermo's Pizza. Thank them for sponsoring this over the years. One of our callers, in the complete discretion of my producer Aaron back at the Avenue Studios, wins a Palermo's Pizza prize package, which includes couple coupons for a couple frozen pizzas and one of our Palermo's Pizza cutters that's really cool, and then a couple other Palermo's related things that we have in our little bag of goodies. So this is the last chance to win one of those, at least for me. So I was trying to think of, okay, it's the last show, it's the last Pop Culture Corner, what do you want to do? And I thought the most appropriate thing was circle back to where we started. When I started doing this, started doing radio shows 25 years at TMJ and a couple more years again up the dial. And I want to go back to where we started with, our old Friday Afternoon at the Movie segment. And, one of the old reliables, I think it was the first Pop Culture Corner I ever did, or Friday Afternoon at the Movies I ever did. And I thought it would be fitting for it to be the last Friday Afternoon at the Movies, that Pop Culture Corner that I do. So we're going back to the beginning. There have been lots and lots of great movies over the years. Maybe you watched them in theaters, maybe you've watched them on TV, maybe you've watched them on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray disc, or now you can stream them or whatever. But this is your last chance to wade in and interact with me on this issue. Here is my question. Our final Pop Culture Corner at WTMJ, the greatest movie of all time number one movie you never get tired of watching. You think it's the best movie ever made. 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. We're back to take your calls and your texts in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Jeff Wagner is back right after this on WTMJ.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
Companies are in the midst of open enrollment. I know we are here at Good Karma Brands with R&R Insurance. To shed some light on the topic is Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations.
Thank you, Vince. A benefit understood is a benefit appreciated. Knowing how to best communicate your benefits will help your employees understand their options, guide their decision-making, and increase their sense of value and engagement. R&R Insurance can show your business how to use your benefit program to attract and retain employees. In this tight labor market, you need every competitive advantage.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
At R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit packages in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefit information for themselves and their families 24/7. At R&R Insurance, we know employee benefits.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
It's pop culture time. Now back to take your calls. Here's Jeff Wagner.
We're broadcasting live from Grafton, Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas. We're going full circle here. This is how we started years and years ago. We wrap up with the same question. Friday afternoon at the movies. Greatest movie of all time. 855-616-1620 on the text line. Star Wars. Dr. Zhivago. Jeff, for me, it's The Godfather, although I would say maybe the second one is arguably better. Those are all absolutely great movies. Jeff, best movie of all time has to be The Godfather. It's been great listening to you over the years. I'll miss hearing your perspectives. Happy retirement. Thank you. 855-616-1620. Let's start with Ron in Racine. Ron, hello.
Yeah, Jeff, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you, sir.
For me, I saw this many years ago, but I saw it in one of these big theaters before they started shrinking them all, and that was the original Jaws.
Right.
That movie just blew me away. I thought I've never seen another movie like that. That was so fun to watch.
I still vividly remember sitting in one of those big theaters, Ron, when the shark comes out of the water and you see it for the first time. And, and of course, Roy Shire says, well, you're going to need a bigger boat. And that shark comes out of the water and the way people collectively screamed, it was incredible.
Yeah, and also when they're down under the water and that the dead body comes out from the boat.
Right.
And they're under the water, and so they can't just take a big gasp of air that shocked the heck out of it. The screams in that theater when that happened was so loud. I got kind of startled with it.
It was amazing. Hey, thanks for the call, Ron. I appreciate it. Let's talk to Jim in Bayview. Jim, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hello there. I've really enjoyed listening to you over the years, and good luck to you, whatever you do.
Thank you, sir.
For me, I really liked this movie when I was a little kid, and the next time I see it, I'll really like it. The best movie is The Wizard of Oz, Jeff.
You get the black and white stuff in the beginning, and then the house, gets taken away, and Dorothy wakes up in Oz, and it's that color. A young Judy Garland, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that great song. What's not to like about The Wizard of Oz?
I know. It's terrific.
No, it is. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. I tell you, as I was a kid, I remember, terrorized is too strong a word, but I do remember being kind of freaked out by the Wicked Witch of the West and stuff. What a great show that was. Let's talk to Steve in Glendale. Steve, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Jeff, gonna miss you. My wife and I love you, and God bless.
Thanks. Same to you, sir. Thank you.
Favorite movie of all time? Favorite movie, definitely Ben-Hur, and the musical score was phenomenal.
It is a show. It's a show that stands up. Now, I have to tell you though, Steve, this is something that's going to perhaps make you feel old, because on the screen where my producer Aaron puts up the things, he's got Ben-Hur with Charles something. So clearly Charlton Heston did not resonate with him, but Charlton Heston resonates with you and me.
Exactly. I don't think he knew what I was talking about when I told him. But
yeah, it's just kind of like it, but that's how it goes. Thanks for the call. I love Ben-Hur, and of course, Charlton Heston was is just in the 50s and 60s, just such a huge star, and went on, and he was the head of the NRA for a little while and stuff. But Ben-Hur, if you want to look at some of the big blockbuster epic type of movies, certainly Gone with the Wind, Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia, which interestingly enough, I would put that certainly on my top 5 list. Lawrence of Arabia was the first movie that Peter O'Toole ever made. Can you imagine? You're starting your first movie. You're going to be starring in Lawrence of Arabia. 855-616-1620. Mike in Brookfield. Mike, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. I think the best movie ever made would be The Ten Commandments.
Ooh, another Charlton Heston movie, yeah. Ben-Hur and playing Moses and stuff, Yul Brynner, all those. That's another movie you never get tired of watching. Thanks for the call, I appreciate it. Just you never get tired of watching that. Jim in Illinois. Jim, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, Jeff. Sorry to see you go over and I miss locking horns with you on topics I didn't always agree with you. But
that's okay.
Godfather #1. There's parts of the movie I just cannot. When it comes on, I cannot not watch it. And the very favorite part is the very beginning when Undertaker is complaining to him about his daughter being assaulted, and his response. There's certain parts of the movie that you like to watch over and over again.
I agree, Jim. Thanks for the call. Matter of fact, there's a couple books out on the making of The Godfather that I read last year, and there's I don't know if it's Paramount, I think, has it. It's a miniseries called The Offer, which is a miniseries based on the making of it. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it's kind of interesting to do it. And I'm a huge fan of The Godfather as well. Let me go through a couple texts here. Jeff, it's a wonderful life. It's amazing how one man's life can touch so many. Jeff, my very best to you, and the best wishes on the retirement are just outstanding, and thank you. It means a lot to me. Casablanca, Jeff, the Shaw. I'm a huge fan of Casablanca. That's on my top 5 list as well. Never get tired of watching it. Jeff, for me, it's the Shawshank Redemption. Great story, great acting, perfect ending. The Princess Bride. I watched The Princess Bride the other day. Anything with the late, great Andre the Giant. How can you go wrong? Jeff, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. No question about it. I think that's all that you could possibly want. A lot of people are voting, for Sound of Music. Sound of Music was an outstanding one as well. Let's see. It's a Wonderful Life. Couple people voting for that one. Let me switch my little computer screen here. Hoosiers. Tried calling, phone lines are jammed. Favorite movie of all time is Hoosiers. Every year I will watch it. Hoosiers is a great sports movie. There's no, question about it. Jeff, I like the movie Giant. Greed, capitalism, race issues, just the issues that we have today. Giant being the movie with James Dean. Jeff, for me, it's any Dirty Harry movie. Jeff, for me, it's pick a James Bond movie. Any one, and I'm happy. To me, my favorite James Bond movie is Goldfinger. I think that was kind of the perfect James Bond movie. It all kind of came together. Number of people, White Christmas, no question about it. I mean, White Christmas, that's another movie that I will watch, 3 or 4 times every season. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Dave and Racine. Dave, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Greetings, Jeff, and good luck on your future ventures. My movie is Apollo 13. I mean, Ron Howard did just a perfect job directing that movie. The storyline, and it was everything from the music to the cast was perfect. I mean, even the reentry scene was a pillow clutcher. Even though I've seen it a million times, and the scene where even when Ed Harris goes sitting as Gene Kranz just kind of collapses into a chair trying to dry his eyes because, finally after just being able to let go. And even when Mel Gibson afterward at the Oscars said that Ron Howard got robbed for not getting that Oscar for that movie.
Dave, you have obviously hit a note that resonates with my producer because, my friend, you are the winner of our Palermo's Pizza Prize Package. Coupon good for 2 frozen pizzas and a pizza cutter and all that. Thanks for participating, and thanks a lot for listening over these years, Dave.
And thank you so much for providing a plan for a guy like me to palabra, which, I was vaccinated with a phonograph needle. So,
take care, Dave. Thank you. He talked about Apollo 13. Here's the beauty of Apollo 13. That's a movie, how it ends. I mean, they all come back. I mean, it's based on a true story, so it's not like is somebody going to die. They get home safely, right? But yet, I remember the first time I watched that movie, and I saw it in a theater. You're watching this movie, and even though you know how it ends, okay, they don't die in space, they don't burn up on reentry, you are just riveted. And that's, to me, in some respects, that's the most compelling movies that you have, where you're telling these stories, even though the entire audience knows what the outcome of the story is going to be. You still just can't take your eyes off it. Number of people are saying The Sound of Music. I think if you're talking about musicals, I think The Sound of Music would certainly be up there. My top 5, and it's my show, so I can kind of mix them around in no particular order. Casablanca, The Godfather. I would put in I would put in The Bridge Over the River Kwai. I would put in Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, those 4 for sure. And if I was going to throw in like a ringer, a movie that probably doesn't have the public acceptance and stuff, the movie Almost Famous, which was made by Cameron Crowe it's sort of semi-autobiographical about him following a struggling rock band. I just think maybe it's because that was just kind of set in the era where I was growing up, but I never get tired of watching Almost Famous. All right. Thank you for participating in Pop Culture Corner today. Thank you for participating all these years. It means more to me than I can possibly tell you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm almost done today, but Greg Matzik, Mike Spalding,